All right, we have started. Hello, welcome to another episode of the Dirty Controller Boys. We out here, I think.
We cheer.
We cheer, baby. How you been, Howler?
Uh, Destiny 2 and League
Does
of Legends.
and critiquing Chonch on his cooking, but
Never.
that's besides the point. So Destiny 2.
Yeah, I've been playing Destiny 2 again.
How's that going?
Uh, you know what seals are in there or no?
Seals?
Yeah.
Like the or seal. I'm sorry.
What?
Uh or? No?
No.
Okay. Wow, that joke flew over your head.
um,
Uh-huh. Tell me about these seals.
uh, so these seals, are kind of like you just like finish like tasks in the game to get like, uh, points or, lore sometimes, or some things hidden behind, like basically like go do like 300 lost sectors or something like that. So anyways, I'm cleaning up some of the seals, mostly actually all of them that are there right now, just because like there's really nothing to do in the game right now, so like that's kind of all there is during this like waiting time for the next season.
Mm.
So I'm pretty close to finishing up all of them. I just have to do a few things again, like I said, to clean up the rest of the stuff to have all the seals. So that's pretty cool. And then in League of Legends, I told you before, all the what's it called? North American teams got knocked out.
Oh yeah.
This time around, the UK got knocked out. I can't remember who said that, but now it's down to every single team that's left except for one is Korean. It's all Korean teams left, plus a Chinese team.
Damn right it's Korean.
And most likely one of the Korean teams are gonna win, which is like,
It's a win-win for Korea.
yeah, I
Basically.
mean it's definitely a win for them.
Yeah.
The only reason I say it's most likely a Korean team left is because there's 3 Korean teams and 1 Chinese team, so
Gotcha.
obviously 3-1, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so it'll be interesting to see who wins that, I guess.
Mm.
Uh, and then what else was it? Destiny League, and I've been starting to watch the stuff again. These Unsolved Mysteries, I think it's called, on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
They had season 1 and season 2 out for a while. Yeah, it is Unsolved Mysteries. So season 3 just came out,
Okay.
and they're unloading like episode by episode every week, I think.
So
Um,
is each episode a different case or
yeah. So
okay.
these are like real unsolved mysteries.
Mhm.
Um, and have you watched these ones before?
No, never. The one that I no, I'm sorry. It's not an unsolved mysteries thing, but like it's somewhat similar to like a case file kind of thing.
Oh,
Was forensics, but I think it was like an HBO. I forget what's it called. Forensic Files or something like that.
oh, was it
Uh
like real stuff or no?
yeah, it was real stuff where they
Okay,
actually had like uh a guy who actually does for like forensics, and he's like very very well known to solve cases
uh-huh.
using forensics. He was like kind of like the host of the show where he kind of like goes into detail about like certain cases and stuff like that he worked in, and that was
Gotcha.
part of that series. Um, but no. What you're watching, I've seen on Netflix, like just looking around, but I have not watched it.
Yeah, there's a bunch of like, of course, like a lot of it's gonna be sad because a lot of it's murder and people that didn't deserve it and shit.
Mm.
Um, and like off the top of my head, there's 2 that I remember. One where I believe it was a black guy went to like a party in like some southern town, and like he basically went missing, and they found his what was really weird was they found his boots and clothes and shit, or maybe not just that. I think it was just his boots. I can't remember, but they
An
found like
article of clothing.
they found clothing
Mhm.
scattered on the road, and then they never found the body.
Hmm.
And I think like they go back and eventually like they're like, well, we did find it and it was here. It was near the house, but they can't. I think they can't figure out who like had the house because it was like a rented thing. So like it was maybe like or like maybe the people like just broke in or something. I can't remember.
Hmm.
Anyways, it was a really weird one, and it was really fucked up because like it was such a weird like why was this moved here and here, and obviously there was like foul play and shit.
Yeah.
Um,
So, so my question is like, for like each episode, obviously they are unsolved, right? That's the
yeah,
whole basis. Is there like anything that they do towards like the end of the episode where they're like, oh, the suspicions could be this
yep,
person, or okay,
yeah. This is just like old unsolved mysteries.
okay,
They used to like the ones they used to do was like that.
okay.
Um, shit, I forgot the other one I was gonna say. Uh, oh yeah, this woman ran a like stylist shop, like for hair and shit or something. Maybe it was
Mm,
nails. Anyways, she's ran some type of shop, and she was there, and then like a car drove up. Obviously, she's gone now. Like she got taken from there,
mm.
and then she was murdered. And like they just can't figure out who would have grabbed her. I think this was like in between the times of like cameras everywhere versus nothing now, right? Or like nothing then, but cameras now.
Turns out, yeah, yeah.
Um, so like they didn't have like a good person to go after, but you like listen to the whole thing and like it really seems like the husband or the step husband was the guy, and it's one of those. Anyways, so like I'm watching the third season of that type of stuff, and it's like I don't know, man. That's just like fucking crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
How do you usually feel about like certain like open-ended things like that, like specific cases and shit like that?
oh, where you don't like know what's gonna what happened, basically.
Yeah, or if they even caught the
I just
guy to
like
this point.
I just like basically come to my own conclusion of like, or I guess like kind of they like steer you into the direction of what they're kind of narrating, but like
Hmm.
a lot of the time I agree with like what they're trying to like put out there because like the one with the step husband, like he was like just a complete asshole to like the
You just mean
kid, I
husband,
think.
right?
Huh?
Just husband.
I'm pretty sure he was a. Oh yeah, well he's the step husband because he's a stepdad to the. He's not the real husband. He's the second husband.
Just husband. Step husband. I don't know if it's a real thing. Is it a real thing?
No, because it's a stepdad is what I'm thinking of. Because the kid I can't remember. I think he was the
Oh,
son.
okay. Yeah, but still in that context. Sorry, I don't mean to like point it out. You know
No,
what? This
I'm not.
this is my Wolverine whole ordeal with you now.
Well, because like it's my own thought of like what it would I'm saying.
a new a new
Anyways,
a new guy, yeah. New
so that's what it is. I'm thinking of it from the point of view of the kid instead of from the wife. You know what I'm saying? Because
so you
he
combine two things: a stepdad and a
so the
husband.
stepdad is uh
Step husband.
I hate it here.
Okay.
Um listen here, Wolverine. Um so
That still fucks me up to this day. uh
so the stepdad was apparently like super mean to the kid and like basically wanted the kid out of the situation. Which is weird because like apparently when he was younger, the kid, he was the like stepdad was like super like nice. I think that is what they were saying. Anyways, it was weird. Um, and like the kid still today was like, I still think he did it.
mm, yeah.
But there's no way of like being
That
like he did
actually
unless he
no.
did.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn.
And then there's a lot of like things where like police sometimes will be like, we didn't really look as good as we could have into this, and they're like, it's also not their fault. It's the guys from like 20 years ago or 30 years ago.
Yeah, usually they have to like. I guess the apology is from the police department in general.
Right.
Yeah, instead of the individual person.
Right.
Yeah, that's always been like interesting to like kind of get the perspective like the new guys that walked in and like learn about this case is just like we could have done something better, or if like I don't know, technology advanced further along in that time, because
Yeah.
it's just crazy the amount of shit that like you could get away with around like the fucking 60s, the 70s, hell the 80s, and like
Kind of
it's
insane that so many people got caught though.
yeah, that's the thing that still surprises me is that like
I feel
even
like a
even
lot of the
back
time you
then,
probably would
yeah,
have had to be ratted on.
yeah, or you said, or the person committing the crime said something stupid to somebody and was like, that seems a little suspect.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, like, there's a lot of stupid crimes that people do that, like, easily they get caught, right?
yeah, yeah.
Even without a camera. Like,
They just fuck up. That's all it
yeah.
is. They just fuck up.
It's pretty funny, though.
Yeah. No, because like this was interesting because last week I was talking about Memories of Murder, and that's like a movie that's based off an actual thing that was happening in South Korea.
Oh,
And
right.
yeah, and it's like I said, like if I didn't know the context of that movie until I finished the movie and I just went online to like look at more stuff with the actor that I was interested in. And yeah, I just saw that like the synopsis of the movie was like based off of an actual like period of South Korea, and it's just like the context. Oh jeez, fucking hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, no, fucking Discord just decided to send me a message saying, "Hey, you want to try Nitro?"
Do you?
Not now, not now,
Okay.
Discord. Okay. Uh, um, but yeah, it was really fascinating because like especially with that final scene in that movie, it really has a lot more impact if you understand the context of this whole situation surrounding it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like unsolved murders and stuff like that is always, it's fucked up to say that it's interesting, but I mean it is true though. You know?
No, yeah. I mean, with respect, it's interesting, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, yeah. Unlike that fucking Dahmer show.
Like, yeah, I watched part of that and just like, so bad.
Is
I
it?
think, I think Chris Evans is great. Like, he does
Peter Evans. Or Evan
what
Peters,
the
I
fuck
think
did
is
I say?
Chris Evans.
God fucking damn it, bro. Jesus Christ.
Not Peter Evans. Evan Peters? The
Evan
fuck?
Peters.
Yeah, Evan Peters.
I said Chris Evans, bro.
Captain
Jesus
America.
Christ.
It's all right, man.
No, Captain America did a real good Jeffrey Dahmer.
Mhm.
Evan Peters.
Evan Peters.
He not even like that he did a good Dahmer. He's just a good actor.
No, he's legitimate. Like, so okay. I don't want to make this about me, but this was also part of my week as well. I watched a Netflix show called The Watcher. Have you
Oh,
seen
yeah.
this?
No,
So
I haven't seen it, but
you
yeah.
haven't seen it, okay? But you've seen it like floating around on Netflix, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the showrunners and I believe the director and writer, I could be wrong, but the guy who did Dahmer also did the show The Watcher. And what I also found out is that he also did the show American Horror Story.
Oh, okay.
So if you watch The Watcher, the premise is interesting, but the writing is terrible. It's really trashy. So that as I was watching the show, I was like, I wonder if Dahmer's written almost the exact same way, where it's just not that great writing. Like it, I think the hallmarks of American Horror Story was the fact that like everybody was a fucking weirdo in that show, but they were an aggressive weirdo. You know what I'm saying? Like they just came off way too strong with their weirdo vibes.
Yeah.
So that's what I felt with The Watcher. The Watcher was the exact same way, where like everybody was weird and aggressive, and then like some people would just flip like emotions on the turn of a dime. Like it was
Dahmer,
bizarre.
thinking about it, wasn't like, I don't know if the word written well or the words written well. I don't know. It didn't feel good. I just didn't really like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you. I watched the entirety of The Watcher, and I don't think you would like it either. I
I
don't
might
know.
check it out though. Is
Yeah.
Evan
If you
Peters in it?
no, it's shit. Naomi Watts is in it. The only other person I can think about. You've probably seen his face, but he's this like olive skinned Italian guy. He's like
Wow, that's
very
my
tall.
race, and you're gonna come after our people like that, calling us olive
Yeah, the
just
olives.
because we're out there with the vineyards. You piece of shit.
Yeah, basically, what the fuck is this actor's name? Bobby Cannavale, I think his name is. Yeah, you've seen his face in like other things. He always looks like he's a mobster because he's Italian.
Wow.
Making
Truly,
insinuations.
this is so racist, man. I've never felt racial tension as such as this.
Very racist. Much racism towards the Italians.
George hates Italians, man. He doesn't
I,
like a spicy meatball, and I love a spicy meatball. Know
I
that.
that's right. That's correct. I can never forgive the Italians for the gabagool.
You're about to get
Never.
gabagooled in your fucking Barney Flintstones. Ah, God.
You got me. You got me. But yeah,
Wait, Barney's not a Flintstone. Barney
Rubble.
Rubble? You're about
Yes.
to get hit in your Barney Rubbles.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
a better
little bit
one.
better. Yeah, it's okay.
No, that's not okay. It's just fire,
It's all right.
dude. Those
It's
guys
all
are
right.
upset. All right, moving on.
Yeah. So, yeah. So unsolved. What is it? Unsolved mysteries?
Mhm.
Okay. Anything
On
else?
the Netflix. Uh, no,
Nothing is
nah.
what you're telling me.
Yeah, that's it.
Where? Wow. So that was your week.
A lot of Destiny.
Destiny and League and
I mean,
Unsolved Mysteries.
well,
Actually,
I
that's not
mean,
bad. Yeah, it's
you
not
know,
bad.
there's other like, I don't know, Seinfeld again, of course. I can't stop watching Seinfeld on repeat, bro. It just is what it is. It's like
So
background noise.
it's all right, man. It's all right. It's okay. I won't judge you. This is coming from somebody that hasn't watched Seinfeld, so I can't really have a say in it.
Yeah, you wouldn't understand the hilarity.
Yeah, I only understand some references, and that's basically it.
Yeah, like Soup Nazi. Okay.
Yeah,
What,
actually.
what did you do? What happened with your week? How you doing? What's going on, Chris?
What's going on with me? I feel like I did a lot, but at the same time, I feel like I didn't, which usually happens every week. So one of the things that I watched was Netflix's The Watcher. So, just to talk about that a little bit more. So it's apparently based off an actual thing that happened in New Jersey. Where this family was being harassed essentially by somebody who was leaving letters in their mailbox saying that like just saying weird shit about like how they were like somebody was watching them and saying that the sacrifice needed to be made and shit like that. Just weird shit. So like I said, the show is written by the guy who did American Horror Story and the Dahmer show. And like I say, there's a bunch of weirdos in the show that like the show really wants to push this whole paranoia thing onto the audience of being like, who could the watcher actually be in the neighborhood? Could it be this neighbor? Could it be that neighbor? Could it be this guy? Could it be the police? Like it tries to push that paranoia thing. There's a moment in the show where there were actually not a moment, but there were a ton of moments in that show where I started to laugh my ass off because of the absurdity that it like that it was trying to create some kind of tension or some kind of dilemma. Okay, can I spoil this one little thing, or are you gonna watch the show?
You can spoil. I'm just gonna. Well,
Okay,
don't spoil who it is, I guess.
no, it's not. I'm not gonna spoil about who the Watcher is, because that's even a spoiler too. Okay, I won't. If you watch it, we'll probably talk a little bit more about this. But like, there's a hilarious moment in the show where the so the daughter in the show has a relationship with this 19-year-old kid, which I didn't know that in New Jersey the age of consent is 16. Did you know that?
It,
It is.
did you like look it up?
I actually had to look it up because living in New York, the age of consent is 17. So I thought it was weird because like
Oh,
yeah,
I grew up thinking the age of consent so is 18.
Okay, it's that too until I found out about New York's age consent, but
That's weird. Nah, I didn't
it's
know that.
it's very bizarre because like there was a whole weird aspect of the show where this daughter who's like turning 16 is like flirting with this guy who's like 19, and there's a really really weird and really suspect moment in the show where he's hanging out with her in a pool and she's like uh kind of flirting with him but in a very awkward way where he's like, "Oh, I could get in trouble for this," and she's like, "Well, sometimes you got to live dangerously," and I'm just like, "What the fuck is going on?" It's so I was like, "What is happening?"
I
Um,
fucking can't stand like sexually charged scenes in TV and movie. It always makes me feel so fucking weird.
so that's the issue is that like the guy who wrote The Watcher wrote American Horror Story, and there's a shit ton of moments in American Horror Story where it's like weird sexual tension. It's
They're like, oh, my balls are aching.
yeah, I'm good. I'm going to coom.
Oh god, I've just released my entire disability check.
Oh, disgusting, disgusting. It's so bizarre because like so have you watched American Horror Story?
Yeah, like most of it.
Okay, I watched like the first season. I think a little bit of the one with the witches, Coven. I think it's
Yeah,
called.
Coven.
And then after that, all I know is that like the rest of them are like super super trashy. But like, not to say the first season wasn't trashy. The first season was super trashy. But it was pretty all right. Especially how the ending was.
What do you mean by trashy when you say trashy? Like bad?
Yes.
Season
Because
was so good. You
it was,
liar.
but it was trashy though. Because it's
Yeah,
like
you're trashy.
I know.
Now I gotta defend my fucking show. I will defend you, whoever wrote this show. Hold on. Chris, shut up!
No, I won't shut up because it is trashy. And as somebody that likes trash, I can say that it's trashy because I know trash. I know my
Wow.
trash. I
Truly
I like to think
a
that
raccoon.
I exactly. I like to think that I am a raccoon of media. All right.
Oh my god.
I like to take a little the trash. Uh, but how it's like I'm saying is that like it's written very like weirdly. Um, in the sense going back to the whole thing with the daughter. So yeah, the daughter had this whole relationship with the the 19-year-old, and the dad finds out, and the dad like loses his shit, and he's like, oh, like he's trying, like the police get called on him. Because the daughter calls the police on him because the daughter calls the police and she's like, my dad is harassing this guy at my house and this and that. So the police come and the dad is like, arrest this guy. He's been having a relationship with my 16-year-old daughter, and the police has to come and basically be like, yo, dude, calm the fuck down. The age consent in New Jersey is 16. How old is your daughter? And he's like 16. And he's like, so there's no problem here. So it was like this weird moment of just like, because the guy is from New York. That's the whole thing. Is that like the dad is from New York, so that's why he has this whole thing of like, oh, what is going on? 16 with a 19-year-old. Either way, um,
That's a weird thing though. Like,
it was
if
very
you're used
weird.
to one thing for the year, or one thing for the year, if you live in one place and think like it's the age of consent 17, and then like you move to a new place and they're like, okay, it's changed. That is like you lived your life one way for so long. Like, why would you change? You know what I'm saying? They don't want
Yeah,
to change it.
I think it's just wild in the States though, because it's just like age consent like varies like all over.
Right? Yeah, yeah. I wonder if there's a federal, because there's usually a federal law for something, right?
I think there
Or for
is.
everything.
I think there is, but I feel like it's more like a state thing because, like I said, it's the show is based in New Jersey, but there's moments in New York, so it's like
Right,
New
right,
Jersey's
right.
so close to New York that it's just that whole little. It's not a huge change,
Mhm.
but it's like it's still really different, really weird. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But yeah, there's a whole thing with that. But going to the absurdity of like where I started laughing because I was supposed to take the whole situation seriously was that the dad basically had to tell the daughters, you have to stop seeing this guy. Like, I'm going to forbid you to see this guy. So the daughter doesn't take that to heart. And she instead, what she does is that she goes on social media to talk about how her dad and her mom are racist to her new boyfriend because the 19-year-old kid is African American. So there's this whole like for like I want to say like for the rest of the show and like episode 4 or 5, for like the rest of that episode is the family trying to deal with the consequences of their daughter going on social media to call them racists. And it is so goofy because the dad is like, what the fuck did you just do? And she's like, well, it's because you don't let me see him. And it's like, do you understand? Like, I had, like, the dad was like in his position and he's like, do you understand that I was at work and my secretary had to show this to me? And then on top of that, your mother was just like minding her own business, and then she heard about this absurd shit. It's so fucking crazy. And then the end result, I don't know if this pertains to white families, but like at the end result, the daughter goes to the mom and she's like, "I'm sorry for what I did. Like, I realize that whenever I get angry, like, I just want other people to feel hurt. So that's why I did what I did." And I'm just like, and then the mom was like, "All right, I forgive you." And I was just like, what is happening?
That's a white family thing.
It's a
1000%.
it's a huge white family thing. Cause
Yeah.
I'm like, my mom would beat my ass, and let alone like jeopardizing my dad's job, my mom's job. They would beat the fuck out of me.
Yeah, I would have had my shit kicked in, definitely, but like it for like more classy white families, yeah, it's like
Oh, it's
they're
like, you're jeopardizing their careers because you're just mad because your dad said no. Stop seeing this guy. Because first of all, there's a whole thing where the dad suspects that kid to be the Watcher, so there's that thing going on.
yeah, yeah.
But you know, like I said, it that show takes certain situations and like amps it up to like to fucking 10 or 11.
It's,
And
it's a TV show, so it's
exactly,
something
that's
like that.
but that's what I'm saying, is that like it kind of adds to that trashiness of just like things have to be amped up, even though the situation itself is like not as amped, but still, it's I don't know. It's a very goofy show, and once you get to the end of the series and actually learn about the whole actual case, um, I don't know. It depends on how you are with certain things, being open ended, essentially. Um, so yeah, The Watcher on Netflix. Watch it at your own risk.
Watch The Watcher.
At your own risk. And then before we started watching the podcast, there was a movie I really wanted to see called In the Mood for Love, which is this romance drama movie that was very
Before we
interesting.
started watching the podcast.
I'm sorry, before we started the podcast.
Oh, I was
Yeah.
like, were you
Sorry.
watching something called the podcast?
Sorry, I was watching something before I started the podcast. There we go. Yeah, a movie called In the Mood for Love. It's a very good movie. I really, really enjoyed it. It basically like is a movie that says sometimes marriage sucks. Like that's basically the whole thing. The premise is this this lady and this guy are both neighbors. They just moved into a new apartment. And they both find out that their spouses have had a relationship with one another. So this lady realizes her husband's been cheating on the wife of her next door neighbor, which is the guy. And they have a whole thing in the movie where they try to have a connection, and like is this whole thing about like loneliness and trying to come to terms with the situation that you're in, especially in a relationship, especially if you find out that your spouse has been cheating on you. So I really like what the movie does, where they have really interesting moments where the couple that you're following, the neighbors, the neighbor couple I should say, are like having like a reenactment of how they would confront their spouse. So there's one moment where the wife character, she is like having a conversation with the husband character, and is basically like trying to confront him about like his mistress. And you know, they're rehearsing the whole thing as if they were eating dinner. So they're rehearsing it, and you know, at first she slaps him, you know, as a rehearsal. So the guy is like, you know, he's like, you think a slap is going to be a good idea? Like, if you really want to give him a good old, like, you know, what you feel, give him a punch instead. So she's like, okay, all right. So then she asks him, she's like, do you think he's going to admit so easily about his relationship? And he's like, I don't know, but you never know. So then she goes for the whole rehearsal again of them talking about like, okay, I know about your mistress. Tell me about your mistress. Have you been seeing somebody else? And then during the rehearsal, the guy says yes. So then there's a moment of just silence where you just see the wife's face, the lady's face, and she just starts crying. And then the guy has to comfort her to be like we're just practicing, we're just rehearsing. Like it's like we're not doing this for real. And she's like, I understand, but it hurts because it's the truth though. Like it's like it's something that really happened. So it like I said, it's a movie that really plays on like the whole dynamics of relationships and like finding somebody that understands you and loneliness, because that's the big emphasis in that movie is loneliness. Um, it's a very very good movie, and I actually do want to see the other movies that are kind of like loose sequels, or a loose prequel and a loose sequel. Because apparently it's part of a trilogy that the director has made of like different like love stories. Uh, but yeah, In the Mood for Love, it was very good. I really like how that movie is shot. The editing is very interesting. It's yeah, I recommend it if you're looking for like a good drama. Uh, and how it ends too is just like, ooh man, like I just thinking about it like right now and after just seeing it, it's just like damn, it like it kind of stings. So yeah, In the Mood for Love.
Sounds pretty
Um,
good.
yeah, like I'm saying is that like it's a movie starring Maggie Cheung and Tony Leung. Maggie Cheung, you've probably seen her in like you ever watched Police Story? Jackie Chan's Police Story?
I think I tried. Can't remember.
Okay, so but Maggie
Oh
Cheung,
wait, Police Story when he's like driving to the hospital or something. Is that
God,
it?
it's the one where he's in the shopping mall.
I thought his wife was like having a baby.
No,
What am
but
I thinking of?
I don't know what you're thinking of. But Maggie Cheung is Jackie Chan's girlfriend in that movie. Like I said, you probably haven't seen the movie, so um either way,
No.
she like she's a very well regarded actress, and that movie really makes her shine because there's just a lot of emotional scenes that she pulls off incredibly well. Tony Leung is also a very high prolific Hong Kong actor that I don't know if you saw Shang-Chi, the new Shang-Chi Marvel movie, The Ten Rings.
No.
Okay, so in Shang-Chi, he plays the dad character of Shang-Chi. Um, he's very good. He's a very good actor. Was that him in? No, I don't think that was him. Hold on. Hold on. Was that him? Yes, that was him. Okay. He was in Hard Boiled with Chow Yun Fat. Uh, he was another character in that movie. But he's a very good actor. Uh, yeah, it's a Hong Kong movie. So you're gonna have to watch that in them subtitles. Uh yeah, and then that's what I watched. I'm probably gonna I'm planning on watching a movie that I've been really wanting to watch as well, called Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, cuz it is part of do you know the movie Old Boy? I think I've talked about it before.
What?
Oh, did you hear me? Or are you just phasing me out and thinking about that ice cream that you want to get?
No. What were you saying?
Don't lie to me. Uh, no, I'm really anticipating on watching this movie called Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance. And I was asking you if you've seen the movie Old Boy.
No.
Okay. Uh, Old Boy is like one of my favorite movies of all time. And it's hard to please me, but it is true. That is one of my favorite movies of all time. But the Old Boy is part of a trilogy called the Vengeance trilogy. So there was a movie called Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, and then Old Boy, and then third movie called Sympathy for Mrs. Vengeance. So I hear that Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance is pretty good. It's by the same director. I like his work, but I've only seen Old Boy, and I saw another movie he made on Amazon called Handmaiden. And Handmaiden is also a very good movie as well. I recommend it if it's still up on Amazon.
Handmaiden, the show?
No, not Handmaiden Tale. It's called Handmaiden. I believe it's called The Handmaiden or Handmaiden. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, The Handmaiden. It's a Korean movie. It's a drama about these two women who are both in love with one another, but they can't necessarily like come out with their love, because I think during the time period it was when was it? It was it was when Japan was occupying Korea. That's what it was. But basically, like, the movie just takes like really crazy twists and turns as it goes, and I really like that movie. I recommend it if you find it on Amazon. But if you can find Old Boy is like the top thing to watch from that director. I don't recommend the American adaptation, because that got adapted by Spike Lee.
What's wrong with Spike Lee?
Huh?
What's wrong with Spike Lee?
There's nothing wrong with Spike Lee. The movie's just bad.
Wow, he hates Spike Lee.
Yeah, I hate Spike Lee. Old Boy, the movie is it's honestly not like the American version of Old Boy is not good. The Korean version is the one you want to watch, because it is very, very well done. And that's just not trying to be snobbish or anything. It's just it's how it is. Like it's genuinely much better if you watch the Korean version. Because there's a lot of things that the American version of Old Boy tries to like do a lot of things scene for scene as the Korean version. So at a point, I'm just like, you might as well just watch the Korean version instead. But the American version misses out on a lot of like drama and tension that the Korean version does, and it just like kind of falls flat on its face. But like I said, Old Boy Korean version, very, very good. I do want to watch that. Sympathy. I think just to like sum it all down, I do want to watch Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, which I'm planning on watching, I think, after we're done with the podcast. And yeah, as for video games and other shit that I did, I'm now up to date with Chainsaw Man.
I saw you post that.
It's really good. I know I talked about it last week that I wanted to watch the anime, but there was a part of me that wanted to read the manga. So I read the manga. I'm up to date on Chainsaw Man. Yeah. Just fucking it's so good. Like, it's really good. Yeah, all I can say is that, like, if you just want to watch the anime, because like I watched the first episode of the anime, and god damn how that show is animated. It is insane. It is nuts, but it's by the people who did the first season of Attack on Titan, so it makes sense, because that animation in Attack on Titan is nuts, and Chainsaw Man's animation is nuts. But my only thing with the anime is that, like, there's so much that happens in Chainsaw Man that I don't think they're going to be able to cover it. I think they're probably going to do maybe like 12 episodes and then renew it for another season, because they basically, in the manga, they finished a whole arc. Right now it's starting up a completely new arc in the manga, and it's just interesting. I'm just really like keen to see where this arc goes. But like, if they were to do just that one arc for the anime, I think that's perfect. Because even then, when I finished that first arc of the manga, I was like, wow, this could have just ended right here, and I would have been perfectly fine with it. But yeah, it's still going. It's good. It's really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, Chainsaw Man. I do want to keep watching more anime. I forgot that I was watching JoJo for a little bit again, and then I'm catching back up with JoJo. JoJo's really, really fun. I think the last couple episodes are being dumped next month or the month after, but yeah, part 6 is coming to an end. And I remember I was watching the Kamen Rider anime, and yeah, just I haven't picked it back up. I think it finished though. I have to check. And then of course I talked about the fucking Gundam anime with the lesbians.
Oh yeah.
Gundams are powered by lesbians. I want to watch that because I actually hear it's actually pretty good. I think there's also that other one on Netflix called Iron Blooded Orphans. I hear that one's actually pretty good as well. You ever see like were you ever interested in Gundam, like the show or like anything pertaining to it?
Have you ever seen Gundam at all?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I watched Gundam Wing.
Oh, you watch Wing? Wow. Okay. Okay. Is Wing good?
It was when I was a kid, and I thought big mechs were cool.
Okay, fair enough.
I think there was a guy named Guy in there or some shit. It wasn't. I thought there was. In one of the Gundam shows, there's a person named
Guy. Okay, I
can't remember which show it was, but it had the big red, white, and blue Gundam.
Don't worry, my guy. There's a guy named Guy in Naruto, so it's okay. You're fine.
Well, he's not like super cool. Rock Lee is though.
I mean, I kind of like Guy, but Guy.
Rock Lee's cooler than Guy.
But Guy does the 8 Bankai super.
They do the stupid Lee Guy.
Lee Guy.
Falcor.
So stupid. No, because I wanted to bring up Gundam. Excuse me, I just burped for a little bit. I just wanted to bring up Gundam because of the fact that like I was so intimidated by Gundam because of the amount of like things that were available for Gundam. I'm talking about the anime specifically, because what I've been seeing is that like there's the mainline canon universe, which the 80s Gundam show is based in, and from then on is where some stuff starts to like diverge into like different sections of Gundam, like spin-offs almost. That's why I was so intimidated by it. But like overall, I watched like maybe 1 or 2 episodes of like the 80s Gundam, and it was pretty good. Like it was actually pretty good. And that was the thing, is that like I really wanted to get into it, but I just don't know. I don't remember why I stopped. But like I said, Gundam I keep hearing is pretty good, especially with some of the political stuff as well, which is kind of interesting. That I think before, younger me didn't appreciate, because I was always into like the whole thing of Goku slapping a motherfucker and getting more powerful. And that was basically it, instead of appreciating like the political aspects of a universe itself. Which I can dig.
Ronin Warriors?
Ronin Warriors?
Yeah.
No, I think I've heard of it, but no, I don't think I've seen it.
That show was so cool.
How cool is it?
It was like the Power Rangers for anime.
Okay, I'll probably have to check it out then.
Yeah. They had the Red Ronin Warrior, and he turned white. It was pretty cool.
He turned white, even though he was red.
Like their armor would like change sometimes, and he like needed a new form, so he turned into the White Ronin Warrior and got like a cooler sword and stuff.
Let me see this.
That show is so good, dude.
Oh wow, it is very like 80s anime.
Yeah.
Yeah, late 80s. Cool.
Each guy was a different color.
Because how the drawing style kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of Saint Seiya.
Saint Seiya.
Do you remember that?
No. If you send me a link, I'll look at it and I'll probably remember.
Okay, I'll send you a link afterwards. But like, essentially, the whole premise of Saint Seiya is like they're like all dudes based off like, they're based off like different signs of like Virgo, Pegasus, like that shit, like
star signs.
Yeah, star signs. Basically, that was the whole premise of Saint Seiya. Is just like they're all based off that. But yeah, that was like pinnacle early 80s like anime. Yeah. So Chon's trying to get back into anime. What else is new?
True.
And then what did I play this week? Or the week before? Well, I beat one game. It was very short. You ever heard of the game series called Ys? YS?
Nope.
Okay, so let me talk about the nuances of Ys. So this is like an action RPG series that came out like I want to say around the 80s. Um but it's interesting with its combat. Instead of like traditional like turn-based RPG, like I said, it's action, but you're not pressing a button. Instead, what you're doing is that you're coming into contact with your enemy, and it's basically like an auto hit kind of thing, if you know what I'm saying. Like you basically
Yes.
have to like make a like you have to hit your enemy basically, like it's so trying to like prove. Um, so it wasn't too long. It took me like 6 hours, I'm gonna say. Um, it's a relatively short game, the first one. I'm going through the second one, which is a little bit longer. What I've seen on how long to beat is like 11 hours, which is I'm like that's not that bad. But this series like spanned for like a good while. Like the newest one that came out was Yeast 9, and like that one takes like the newest one is, well, the newer ones I should say are like all 3D, and like this the newest one is like almost open world RPG ish, and like takes a very different direction, and how the first game started off, because like basically the vibes of the first game and the second game is like Zelda. It feels like Zelda. If you like Zelda with some like Lord of the Rings ish feelings. Um, but I think the standout thing of the first and the second game is the soundtrack. So what I found out was that the version I played was called Yeast Chronicles 1 and 2 Complete. Was it complete? Yes. I think it was called Complete. Because there's two different versions, because this is technically a version that came out on PSP. So the soundtrack is very different, and so are the character art. It's also very different as well. Or is it called Chronicles? Or not even Chronicles? Oh god, hold on. Yeast 1 and 2. I think it's called Yeast 1 and 2 Chronicles. Yeah, Complete is a different version. Either way. So yeah, the soundtrack is very different, and it's all like rock. It's like almost it's not heavy metal, but it's like it's hard rock. It's what the soundtrack is, and it's so good. Like if you listen to that soundtrack, it is crazy for what the fucking open world like music is. It's just like some dude shredding on a fucking guitar, and it's the coolest shit. But yeah, it's a very very good game. So here's one thing of my experience with Yeast, because I played this on my PC. I was having a hard time with some of the bosses, and that final boss that is at the end of the first game, I thought was super fucking difficult, because I'm like, holy shit, this final boss is going way too fast. And I thought that like there was some weird like difficulty scaling going on. So here's the thing that I found out, checking out forums on Steam. Apparently, if you have the game's refresh rate to a certain amount that's not 60, the game goes way faster, which I didn't know. So I had to recheck my refresh rate like for in the game settings, and basically if I didn't have it on 60, the game was way too fast. And lo and behold, I had it at like 165. And I was like, holy shit. I changed it back to 60, and I'm like, this boss fight is going way better than I anticipated. uh it was crazy to think about, like, oh, it's a good thing I checked the forum, because if I didn't check the forum, I would be stuck on this fucking final boss, because he was fucking zipping and zooming, and I'm just like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? He's way too fast. And then yeah, changing it down, it really really fucking helped.
What a fucking cheater.
Yeah, I mean, I had to. Bro, they're on YouTube. You can find people playing the game at like max like refresh rate at hardest difficulty and trying to like do that whole spiel. And I'm like, those people are fucking nuts. Especially for that final boss, because if you see how that final boss is and imagine it like 5 times faster, you would be like, what the fuck? How am I
I can
supposed
do
to
it
beat this?
easily.
All right.
I'm peak game nerd.
Yeah, you've told me multiple times that, bro, I can beat Yeast with my hands tied behind my back. And I'm like,
Well,
okay.
I do play Destiny too, so
Mm-hmm. Yep, Yeast is just a lower Destiny 2. You got that.
I agree.
Yep. So yeah, Geese, very good game. I recommend it. I think there might be a sale on it right now as far as it's going, but
Buy it, or instead you could always get PlayStation Plus Essentials.
it's not on PSN.
Yeah.
The first two games aren't. But I don't know about the newer ones because I think the 9th game is supposed to come out on PS5. It's supposed to have like an update.
I'm just saying,
Or
like,
upgrade.
if you want like a better deal on games,
Oh no. Okay. Anyways, no. Oh, so this was also another thing that I found out was Yeast 8 apparently on PC was like a fucking train wreck, but it got patched like super hard and really well by the guy who did the Dark Souls 1 patch, Durante. He's very like well known for doing like bug fixes and stuff like that. And he essentially fixed uh Dark Souls on PC for like a good bit until it got remastered. So yeah, Durante fixed Yeast 8 and like people were saying that like his fix changed Yeast 8 so much that he added a co-op for fun. And that game was not launched with a co-op, but he just added one for fun. Which I'm kind of excited to get through. But yeah, basically all the Yeast games are on Steam except for the 5th one. So, I don't know.
Weird.
Yeah. It's very weird, but I think the whole premise of Yeast is supposed to be like a Final Fantasy almost, where like each numbered game is supposed to be like it takes place in a different world. The only thing about Yeast is that it's the same protagonist. So your main protagonist is Adol, that's his name. And then throughout the rest of the series, it's just Adol, but in a different like landscape essentially. But 1 and 2, like 1 obviously is the first game, and then 2 is like a direct sequel from 1. If you like, it picks up literally where the first game ended. But I don't know about 3. But anyways, yeah, good series. I think it might be on sale on Steam. Also, Steam sale is happening for Halloween, so just wanted to add that if you're interested in some Halloween deals on Steam. And what else am I playing? What else did I beat? Oh, I beat No More Heroes 2 on stream. So it was that. No More Heroes 2. Pretty alright, except for that final boss with its second phase. That shit sucked. That shit sucked balls. And not in a good way. It was very difficult, and it was funny because I think I mentioned this on the stream. No More Heroes 2's wiki has a whole thing talking about how like fans despise that boss specifically, and it's on the fucking like trivia section of the wiki, which is hilarious.
Which boss?
It's the final boss of No More Heroes 2. Yeah. But yeah, it was a good game. The reason why I wanted to play No More Heroes was to play 3 because I got my copy of 3. But that'll have to wait because I started playing the Rat Game 2.
True.
Yeah, Plague Tale Requiem is very good. I'm a little sad that the game is at 30 frames per second and it's not necessarily a good 30 frames because there are moments where like the game jitters. Which is kind of unfortunate, but a lot of people were like, there's a whole debate about this, about like this and Gotham Knights, that like the game has to run at 30. But yeah, it's kind of a shame though, like, cause like it's not a stable 30. Like there are moments where like the game dips on PS5. I've been hearing that like Xbox has the VRR where you can kind of bump the game up to 40 and it's kind of stable up there, kind of. But yeah, overall, besides the performance stuff, I think overall the story in that game so far of what I played is just great. I'm really enjoying it. I love that world, and I love like hanging out with Amicia and Hugo. And there was a little bit of me listening to the game in French because the game is based in France, and I kind of want to play the first game in French just to have a little bit more like what's the word I'm looking for? Like to God, to make it really feel like I'm there and they're hearing them speak in French with my English subtitles. But yeah, a very good game, Plague Tale Requiem.
That shit's
Um,
pretty cool, man.
it's good. It's a very good game. Like the there are some minor differences from what I've seen from the first game,
I
gameplay
think the
wise.
rats are still dumb, but everything else is cool about the game.
It's obviously it's very like it's fictional. Like it's a real event in time, but like fictional shit that has happened because like those rats are essentially World War Z rats.
Yeah.
Because it's just flood in and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really enjoying. I'm enjoying the whole fictional, fantastical kind of
The atmosphere
shit.
is cool, and the storyline's pretty okay.
Yeah, because like besides the rats, it's just like you're dealing with like trying not to be killed by mercenaries or crazy people. Like the horror is not truly the rats; it's probably the people.
Wow.
Who are the real monsters?
Wow.
The
I literally
French.
remember hearing you say this last night. You were like, who's really the rat here as you're hiding
Yeah.
behind a box?
Am I the rat?
Are
Are the
we the
rats?
rats on this
Uh
big
yeah.
space rock floating?
Yeah, like that's the whole thing is that like the tension besides the rats is like the whole situation that your main character is in is that like that beginning section was like basically to make people who played the first game remember this world is not safe at all. Because how that game starts off is that like you're playing with your little brother, you're having a good old time, you're like, oh yeah, it's a good thing we made it out this whole situation from the first game, and then you're just immediately like shown that these dudes have been killing these people that like stepped into their like land, and then you had to essentially defend yourself because one of these dudes is about to kill you. And it's just like, oh yeah, that's right, the world that we live in is still shitty besides the rats. Yeah, very very good, very good story. I want to keep playing more of it, obviously. But when I do be putting up the stream, that's when
Yeah, I
I'll,
want
I'll
to see
keep playing.
more of it,
Yeah, and I do want to finish before I play the Resident Evil Village DLC that's coming out.
Oh.
It's coming out the 28th.
Hmm.
So I want to finish this game before I get to that, which in due time, yeah, probably. It'll probably be done. And other games that I'm playing but not finished, I I I kind of got back into my soul's hole. I don't know if that's the right word to call it, but um I'm currently playing through Code Vein. You heard about this? You heard about this Code Vein?
Heard his poop.
Uh it's very anime. It's not bad. The combat is obviously very Souls-like, but the only thing that's really fucking me up is parrying. Cuz parrying feels very vital to the game, but the parrying window feels a little weird. But I don't know. I've gotten a little like I want to say 10 hours into the game. And yeah, it's not bad. I wouldn't say it's the best Souls clone, but I have to see where it kind of goes from there. The only thing I have to give praise, like the biggest praise to this game, is character creation. You can create anime. You could create your OC in this, and that's what I really like about the character creation.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah,
think your
it's
person had some like leather on them. Or
yeah,
zippers or whatever the fuck it was.
yeah.
Very anime edgy
I
character.
basically yeah. I made my my character look like a librarian dominatrix essentially.
Wait, did you post it in the
And
Discord?
I posted up on what's it called on Twitter. I posted it on my
Oh,
Twitter.
that's what it was.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was Twitter. But yeah, that character creator is really good, and I've also found out that like it's by the people that made God Eater, that Monster Hunter clone. They're the same people who made Code Vein, and also the last thing they made was Scarlet Nexus, I think it's called. I have the game too, but I haven't started it up. But I hear Scarlet Nexus is actually pretty fun, but it's very anime as well. Um, so yeah, I'll probably keep playing more Code Vein. It does obviously it's a little bit more faster. The really neat thing about the mechanics, what I know so far is you can switch your class type, and depending which class type you are, you have certain abilities that you can use, and certain weapons and um capes that you can have. Essentially, you're vampires. It's vampire souls, vampire anime souls. Um, and yeah, you can have like different weapons, but depending on your class, and different gifts or abilities depending on your class as well. But the really neat thing that the game does is that once you use a skill and you start to gain proficiency in it, you can kind of like take that skill and move it over to a different class that you want. So you can carry your skills to a different class if you want to. So I appreciate that. That you're not necessarily stuck to one class. The other really neat thing is your capes. It's really dumb, but it's really neat because there was one where I was like, oh shit, that's really cool. Is that like one of the mechanics of the game in order for you to use like magic is you have to use like a move that takes away blood from your enemies, and the blood is supposed to act as your magic.
What
Um
magic at it?
yeah. So depending on which cape you're using, you can get a different animation. One is like claws, the other one is like beast heads coming out and like gnawing at the enemy, or a fucking scorpion tail, which I was like, oh shit, that looks really cool.
Mm.
Especially if you get like what is it, like a back attack? You know how in Dark Souls you have like a invincible back attack if you hit an enemy in the
Yeah.
back. So essentially there's that in Code Vein, and like it has like a really cool animation where like your cape essentially just transforms into like a fucking scorpion tail and just stabs your enemy, and it's just like, oh, that's really cool. Yeah, like I said, I'm having fun with it, but I wouldn't call it like the best Souls clone, because it is definitely a step up from fucking Lords of the Fallen. That's I can say that for a fucking fact. It is a
Yeah, that's
step
fair.
up, because I like I said, I'm so fucking surprised I got through that game, but
If it wasn't a step up, I would say don't play it.
yeah, I if it wasn't a step up, but yeah, it obviously the pace of it feels a little bit faster, and that's what I appreciate a little bit more. While Lords of the Fallen like was kind of the first clone of Souls games, it didn't do that well either. I know some people will appreciate like the realism of the armor that you're wearing, but I'm like, it's a video game. I'd rather have just like no realism at all. That's why I appreciate Code Vein, because it's anime, and anime you can go in fucking weird ass directions with it. Um so yeah, Code Vein. And other than that, yeah, really nothing else that I played. Mm, yeah, that's basically it. That's basically it for my week. Played some stuff, completed a game, up to date with Chainsaw Man, and watched some movies.
I also watched Chainsaw Massacre.
Which one's that one? Texas Chainsaw?
That's what I'm saying. You said Chainsaw. I watched the Chainsaw too.
Oh,
We
okay.
both watched Chainsaw Man.
So we watched chainsaw adjacent things.
No. We both watched Chainsaw Man. I did
Oh,
too.
okay, all right.
All right.
You know what's
Sounds
funny?
good.
That intro is really good. For Chainsaw Man, because it references like different movies, and like one of the movies it references is Texas Chainsaw.
See?
Really? Yeah. So you got it. You did it.
I did it.
All right. So yeah, that was it for our weeks. Oh, one little thing I wanted to include is that I've been really eyeing some GPUs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm down bad, bro. I'm down bad for some GPUs.
Get you
But
a TI 36, bro.
I could get myself a TI 3050, but I'm like, nah. I want to get that 3090 and basically future proof myself. Because
Yeah.
this is like one of the things that I wanted to talk about, is that like obviously I'm in love with Plague Tale Requiem, but I'm starting to realize that like PS5 exclusive stuff is going back to 30 frames per second, and that's a thing that I kind of feel like, damn, it's just like I wish it ran at 60. Like I would give up quality
Wait,
stuff.
are they actually going to 30? Because I thought everything was supposed to be 60.
That's what I thought as well, but like that this has become like a huge controversy that people are talking about, that like newer games now, especially from smaller studios, are going to 30 frames. It's weird because Gotham Knights is from a big studio, but the reason why they're doing 30 frames is for the co-op stuff, and it's like okay, I get it, but you know, you have the PC version, the PC version is just like, here's full 60. Enjoy. So it's very bizarre. And that's why I feel with A Plague Tale Requiem is just like, I love it, but like the frame rate is not a steady 30. Like I would not have this problem if the frame rate was a steady 30, but it's not, because there were obvious moments in me streaming where I just go, oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Because the game starts to like jitter, and I'm just like, oh, that sucks.
Little jitterbug.
Little jitterbug, and I'm like, I don't want jitterbugs, I want rats. Uh
Gross.
so you know, I would rather just get a new GPU, future proof myself essentially, and if another console comes out, then I probably will hold off on that console and not worry about it. You know, not to say I don't like my PS5. I like my PS5. Um
Yeah.
I'm getting excited for the exclusives, but this is also another thing that we spoke about, is that like the exclusivity stuff is starting to diminish a little bit over time. So like Xbox and PlayStation stuff is already coming to PC. You just got to wait like a year or two later, but it's going to be there. And that's the thing that, you know, I can get with a new GPU, is I can play the new stuff once it comes out, or with Xbox Game Pass. If I were you know, uh thinking about going back and resubscribing to Game Pass. Game Pass is a fucking good ass choice, because I can play the new shit that, you know, that just came out on Xbox exclusively, let's say, and play that on my computer rather than buying a new Xbox entirely.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's just challenge. But like, I'm looking at like GPUs and stuff, and like, fuck, dude, I'm probably gonna wait until like fucking Cyber Monday or Black Friday, because like right now, like I've been eyeing a 3090 specifically, that I found that has like fucking 5-star ratings on Amazon, but right now it's like 1500, but like it's fluxing a lot, where I keep seeing it like go to like 600, then 700, and then at one point it went to fucking almost $2,000, and I'm just like, nah, like I can't put down $2,000 for a GPU right now. I'd rather just wait, because what I've been seeing is that like the lowest it's gone to, like, at any point, it was like 1,099, which I'm like, okay, that's not bad compared to like paying fucking $2,000 for it. And then also going on eBay to see what people have up for it. And yeah, like it's around the 1,000 range. Like one that I saw for like a founder's edition is like 1,300, and I'm like, that's not too terrible, but you know, still. And then I was obviously also like thinking about getting a 3080, but I'm like, nah, I just rather put down more for a 3090, you know, just to get that version. And I sent it to you guys that like, oh yeah, I found a 3080 Ti for like 884 or 889, something like that. And that like fucking sold out, and that's been fluxing as well, where like people buy it and then like Amazon has it again and it's like 1,000 something, and then it goes back down to 800. It's just, that's been fluxing this whole time. But yeah, like I said, I'm probably gonna be waiting till like Cyber Monday or Black Friday. So because also I just got a new PSU, so I'm probably gonna be installing that when it comes in tomorrow. So I want to get that done before I decide to bite the bullet and get the 3090. Because also fucking getting, you seen the fucking scalping prices for 4090s?
No.
Dude, it's so bad. Some people are charging like $4,000 or $3,000.
Yeah, I don't know why people are paying that.
Like scalpers still be scalping.
Yeah.
Like they never gonna be stopped scalping. But yeah, that shit is wild.
I just don't know why you would need a fucking 4090.
It's just everybody wants to get in on the new thing. But to be fair, some of like the 4090 capabilities is really interesting, specifically for like workloads, or like either 3D modeling or editing and stuff like that. Like the thing is a beast, but the price it's being sold at, even MSRP from Nvidia, a lot of people are like, that's bullshit. That shouldn't be that price. And then because of it being that price, scalpers bought it, and scalpers are selling it for like double. So it's just, yeah, that's why people are like,
Makes
this,
sense.
it's bullshit. And that's why there was a big talk about how Intel just came out with their new graphics card, but it's a new graphics card, which a lot of people were talking about, like, you know, it's something that how do I explain this? It's like testing the product first, essentially. If you buy this thing, you're testing the capabilities of Intel being able to produce more powerful stuff, essentially. So in order for Intel to do better and pass over Nvidia, because essentially Nvidia is the one that has the biggest market for GPUs, you're gonna have to buy this thing first and basically be a beta tester, essentially. Even though you paid full price for a graphics card, but it's not too expensive. What I've seen is that, like, I think the graphics card goes for like 400 for like the highest one. But it has issues. And I think it released like this month as well. So, like I said, I don't know. I don't know. Graphics cards. So that's Chonch's week. Chonch be chonchin'. All right. Do you want to take a break? Do you want to get your ice cream?
Absolutely.
Okay, we can take a break. All right.
I'll be back.
We'll be right back. All right, we're back from our breaks. Hello, Howler. Are you comfortable? Are you seated?
I'm gonna go.
Okay. All right. I hope you're ready and good to go, because let's talk about this fucking Bayonetta shit, bro. Yo, this shit is nuts. All right. So, to preface this, I was on a bit of the bandwagon of, like, not boycotting the game, but like canceling my pre-order, because I was very conflicted. But at the end result, I was like, all right, I don't want to jump the gun yet, because I want to see what happens at, like, basically the end of the week, or like to see where this story goes, because obviously there is a different side to this, which, lo and behold, we got somewhat of another side to it. So, for those that don't know, Helena Taylor, the original voice actress for Bayonetta, came out and said to all the Bayonutters to boycott the game, because Platinum was planning on giving her $4,000 for an entire game, which she was basically pointing out that, like, that's bullshit, that the voice acting community goes through this kind of shit, and it's, it was a whole mess. Then there was a whole thing with Hideki Kamiya coming out and basically blocking people, to the point where his account got deactivated because he was blocking people so much that Twitter thought that he was a bot of sorts, but then he got it back. So yeah, like I said, there was a whole thing that was happening. A lot of people were jumping the bandwagon, saying that, yes, I'm going to cancel my pre-order. I believe Helena, and I'm going to stand with her. So news came out literally, I want to say, I think last week or a couple. Either way, the recent thing that came out was Bloomberg from Jason Schreier said that he has two sources saying that originally Helena was supposed to be paid near 15,000 for the amount she was about to record, which was 4 or 5 sessions depending, and each of those sessions were $4,000 each, I think, with like hourly. Helena refused, and this is where things started to get really muddy. So according to the whole article, you can find it on Bloomberg, she was supposed, like I said, she was supposed to get paid 15,000 for the amount that fucking Platinum wanted her for. She denied, and she wanted more. She wanted at least 6 figures. The amount, unknown. So Platinum essentially was like, all right, I guess not. So we got to move on to a different voice. So that's when they got Jennifer Hale. I also found out that Platinum uses only union actors because, got to use union. Because most actors are union. And then we talked about this last week as well, that Jennifer Hale is like the biggest face of union voice actors. So that's why the whole thing was weird, because it's like, why would you not take Helena and go with somebody that is a union actor, but yet pay Helena less? That, like I said, that whole situation was very muddled and very weird. There was also a thing where Jennifer Hale had to come out and make a statement. Platinum had to stand by with her. But basically, the whole statement was Jennifer Hale not knowing about the whole situation, about the whole ordeal. She's in her contract is also she's also in an NDA, so she can't really talk about it. But like I said, she was trying to take a stance on voice actors should be paid more, which of course that's Jennifer Hale. So back to the whole thing with Helena is she wanted 6 figures. Platinum said no. So then at a point, Platinum was like, all right, we kind of want you to do a cameo, so we'll pay you this amount. Declined. So then the last offer they made was that $4,000. This is why things got muddled, because Helena did not say that she was offered twice before. She only made the statement coming out saying that she was only offered the $4,000, which was the final offer that Platinum made, but she still declined. So she made this whole ordeal where she was like, they were trying to lowball me and this and that she was saying that that Bayonetta is a $450 million franchise, something of that, an absurd number, which doesn't make sense. I've been kind of following the whole thing about games and stuff like that for like a good bit, obviously listening to video game news podcasts and things like that. Platinum in no way is a fucking multi-billion-dollar, million-dollar franchise. Well, they probably have millions, but they're not billions, okay? Nobody knows where she got this amount from. There's speculation she might have gone to VG charts, which is basically a whole chart showing like the amount of sales made of Bayonetta, including re-releases and different platforms and stuff like that. So somebody took a screenshot of the chart and basically took all the numbers that were sold of Bayonetta and times it by $60, and basically you get a number to what Helena was saying. So that's where a lot of people are speculating that she probably got that number from just multiplying by 60 for whatever amount was sold of Bayonetta, which overall I can say that's not how that works. And the other thing is that, like, what she also wanted besides the 6 figures is residual. She wanted more money and from the character Bayonetta. This is why this goes into really crazy and like muddled and like just ridiculous circumstances, is because she didn't say anything about the first 2 offers, right? And she tried to play it off as if I'm getting fucked with and I'm trying to be the good guy here and basically just to rip the NDA that I was in and come out and say my truth. And that's the thing, it's her truth. And then we actually got the sources from Jason Schreier saying that, like, no, she wanted more, but Platinum had to decline. And then she was offered again, and then she declined again. And then they gave her one final offer just to voice a couple things, and then she still declined. So, I was watching also Young Yeah, because Young Yeah is a voice actor, and he talks about like the whole situation as well, where Helena basically fucked it up for a lot of voice actors out there. She basically ruined the conversation to have about should voice actors be paid more because of what she did, and she ended up, what I feel in this case, hurting that conversation because of her lying. She just lied. And and it's also crazy to think that she came out in a statement saying that Jason Schreier is lying, that basically Jason Schreier is in the pockets of big corpo video game uh to basically mute people who talk out about video games. And Jason Schreier had to come out and be like, I'm not in the palms of anybody. Like, I'm trying to find the truth, and I found the truth, and you're not taking it the way that you wanted it to go. Um it's nuts. It is fucking crazy, and I think at this point this whole debacle is over. And we talked about this before, where essentially because of this, the sales of Bayonetta 3 have gone up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, did you read the article?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. So what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, as far as like feeling like she kind of lied, I guess like she omitted some information and like, you know, uh, however people want to take that. I'm not really invested in this that much, but like,
Mm.
I guess like if I was worried about getting this game or worried about like her getting paid, I mean, she had the opportunity to get the sessions paid for
And she was
$4,000 per session.
so this is also the other thing. She was being paid the rate of union workers, of union voice actors. That was the
Yeah,
rate
I mean, if
she was going to be paid, but she ended up declining because she wanted more and she wanted residuals.
I mean, I guess some people get that, right?
Yeah, some actors do, but that's
I don't know.
also
I guess if she's like an iconic part of the game, then I could see it more happening for her. I don't know if she's that iconic.
Bayonetta is kind of iconic, but you know, this is also the weird thing is just like I think overall is that she omitted that big detail, and then when she tweeted out later on after the whole thing with Jason Schreier pointing this out, she also came out and kind of validated it. And everybody was like, "Wait, you just said that in your first video you only were going to be paid 4,000. You never said anything about being offered 15 or almost near 15." So that changes the perspective entirely. So
Yeah.
that's why it comes into a different direction, where a lot of voice actors and a lot of people viewing the situation are like, you kind of fucked it up for the voice acting community, because now people who want to be paid a decent amount are going to get lowballed and going to try to speak out about this, and then others that view this are going to view it as them lying, them leaving out
Like
details.
I get 15 total.
15 or 16, around that, because there's supposed to be 5 sessions and depending on the hours. But overall, 4,000 is the minimum amount that they're supposed to be paid. Because like I said, Platinum uses only union workers, and the union rate is 4,000.
Yeah, I
For
mean
session.
it sucks, and it's kind of like honestly like uh if you think you should get paid more, you should try to go get paid more. But
Mhm.
like you got to remember, like sometimes you're gonna ask for more money, and someone's gonna tell you no.
Yeah.
It's just the
But
way it's gonna happen sometimes.
so my thing is, how much did she want? Like, what is considered in her case? Because what she keeps
Well, she asked for a six-figure sum, right?
6-figure sum, but like, what was the amount? Because this is also the other thing, is that she keeps pointing out in her first video and even in her later tweets, I want to be paid a living wage. But it's like, but what is your amount of a living wage? Because it
She
obviously
wants a living wage from like she just wants to pay. She wants to do one game and then be done for the year.
exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Then you're looking at 100K per game. I mean, if you're thinking like a like how much somebody spends in a year, I've lived off of $30,000 before in a year.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, but
you're talking at least somewhere between $30 to $100,000.
so that's that's what I'm saying, is that like But what is her amount? You know, we could talk about like our amount specifically.
No, but that's what I'm saying is it's somewhere between that number. There's no
Yeah,
way it's above like 100,000. I mean, it could be a little bit,
it
but
could be.
I mean, someone's not going to pay you that unless you're like, fucking Will Smith or something, man. Like,
Yeah. So this you know, this was brought up to the whole thing about like should voice actors keep voicing, or you know, the whole conversation of bringing in a Hollywood actor to come in, but like that's the thing, is that like most video game companies are not trying to get big Hollywood names because you know most of the
yeah, they have
budget would,
budgets and stuff.
yeah, most of the budget would go to that fucking actor. So it's just like
Well, the
really
truth is, they just have to. I think it's like most other things. When you're a union, you strike, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So
I
that's
think I think voice actors went on a strike for a good bit. I think like a year or two ago, something like that. But like I'm saying, this whole situation got fucking crazy. And within a week too. You know, as somebody that does care about the Bayonetta series, uh,
yeah. When it first came out, it was very like, oh, this is kind of crazy
mhm,
because if that was the end of the story, she was getting paid $4,000 for an
mhm.
entire like.
Game that is
Yeah,
like, yeah,
I'd be like, oh no, not at all.
yeah. So
But
this,
he's getting paid almost $20,000 for 5 sessions.
yeah. So this was the interesting thing, is that like, and this is what I'm talking about, the whole thing about hurting the community of voice actors, is that her being paid $4,000, a lot of voice actors come out to say that, yeah, this is normal. This is normalized in that whole industry. And it's like, damn, that really pointed that out. Because that's the conversation we should be having, is that like nobody should be paid that low of amount for putting in that much effort, depending on how many sessions they went through. Yes. They should be getting paid the union amount, but getting into the union is hard. There's a whole process with that. Uh like that's the thing that was the interesting aspect of it, is that like a lot of this practice is normalized for big companies, big studios, essentially, because there was a whole thing with Sean Chiplock, who played Rivali. He got paid $3,000 for
Chiplock.
playing Weapon.
Chiplock.
Oh, wait, what did I say?
Sean Chiplock or some
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. Sean Chiplock. Excuse me.
I just thought Chiplock is a funny name.
Oh, okay. I thought I said something different. I
No.
thought you were. I thought you were correcting me.
No, I'm laughing at Chiplock.
Yeah, but he played Rivali, the bird guy, in Breath of the Wild. I don't know how many sessions he went through to play that character, but he also played like I think 2 other characters, so a total of 3 characters. But he only got paid $3,000, and that's from Nintendo, which is just like, that's fucking nuts. But then he voiced a character in an indie game called Freedom Planet, and he was paid more than that for playing a single character in an indie game. So that's where like things start to get all fucky with budgets and shit like that.
Right,
Uh,
it's all about the budget. I mean,
yeah.
to be fair, like if you play 3 characters and like each character has maybe some repeatable lines and a few lines of dialogue, like, I get it. It's the
Yeah.
same thing if like The Rock cameoed for like 5 seconds in a movie. I don't think he's gonna get paid $1 million fucking dollars. I think he might get paid like $1,000,
No, I don't think so. For a big guy like the Rock, he's,
to cameo for like 5 seconds.
yeah, he
Doubt,
probably, no, I think he probably charges a lot more because he's a
doubt.
big name. All right, I mean, if you want to doubt. I
I
mean,
do doubt.
how much you think Jeff Keighley paid The Rock to come on and be like, "Yo, you want to talk at the Game Awards?" And then The Rock is like, "Okay, I guess I'll do this cameo for 5 minutes. Pay me in my
Probably
gym."
free because he got to throw his own like buy the Rock juice or something. I can't remember.
Nah, he probably charged Keighley and was like, "Also buy the Rock juice, Keighley."
Maybe. I
Yeah.
don't know. The Rock seems like a pretty decent guy. Usually, people that cameo and stuff don't really seem to ask for much. They usually, especially like if they're in the town that the people are recording in, there's a bunch of like, what are they
Mm.
called? Director cut things where they're like, yeah, we asked John to come on through, and he was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it as a favor because I love this director. That's what I'm saying. It's like,
I mean, we don't know the whole situation with The Rock showing up, but so I don't think The Rock is going to be like, "I'll charge
10
$100
cents,
bucks. I'll charge 10 cents to be
penny,
in this."
1 penny.
Yeah. Nah, he probably has something under his contract where he's like, you got to pay me this amount for this amount of my time, because I could be making money right now in
I bet you could be making money right now.
Black Adam 3. I hear that movie's ass. But yeah, anyways, yeah, that's the conversation that everybody should be having, is that like voice actors should be paid more, especially for a long running franchise. But Helena basically kind of took this whole situation and subverted it to make her seem like the victim, and that
Yep.
wasn't necessarily the case. And that's the thing that's unfortunate, that this is going to have some kind of backlash for people who want to speak out about this industry, only for others to be like, nah. Like, we had the whole Helena Taylor situation, and now it's going to essentially, this is going to be called the Helena effect. Essentially, that's what I'm thinking, is that this is going to be called the Helena effect, where somebody tries to say the truth, but people are like, nah, you're lying. You probably just want more.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think at this point, this saga has probably come to a conclusion. Um, and it's also weird, as well, because like during her first early videos, the last video she did was basically a quote from the Bible, basically kind of feeling like you will feel the wrath of Godish, which really felt weird.
Great.
Yeah, and then you go on her Twitter and she's very religious.
Oh no.
Yeah, she's kind of a religious fanatic. I don't want to shit on her values and things like that, but there's some stuff in there where I'm just like, I don't know about this lady. And it's hilarious that she plays a witch that fights angels.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very goofy. And she calls the fans Bayonutters.
Okay. So the next story is.
Yeah, and moving away, are you ready to Bayonut on this other story?
Yeah, I'm actually really excited about this. I
Uh-huh.
think this is the entire Silent Hill thing, right?
Yes. So Silent Hill. Well, Konami made an announcement. When was it? The 19th? Yes. Basically showing off the phase 8 of Silent Hill. Essentially, always felt like a Marvel thing. You know how like Marvel has a presentation at fucking Comic-Con, be like, we're now in phase 11 of Marvel. But yes, Konami came out showing off. The first thing they showed was the remake of Silent Hill 2, made by Bloober Team.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know a lot of people who love Silent Hill really just wanted another Silent Hill game, not really a remake.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I've only played like a couple things from Bloober, but not many to completion. Um I know what I've been hearing is that the medium is not good. Nobody really liked the medium. Uh I heard the Blair Witch was also really not great either when it comes to its writing. Uh and
Oh, the game or the
yeah,
movie?
the movie.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, not the movie, excuse me. The game. There's a Blair Witch game
Yeah.
made by Bloober Team. I heard that's not
Okay.
great. But the one game that a lot of people do like is The Observer. Some people like that. So this is the interesting thing where I feel like Bloober can't fuck up on this one because the source material is there. The directing and the cinematography can be different from the original game, of course. And obviously the graphics are very, very updated and very remake-ish. But they can't fuck up the source material. You understand what I'm saying? Is that like
Yes.
this game already exists, so for them to fuck it up would would be a detriment to them.
They'd have to do what GTA did, or Rockstar did to GTA.
What did Rockstar do to GTA?
When they remastered their shit, it was all fucked up.
Oh yes, yes. But because they outsourced to a different company.
Right, well,
Yeah.
Bloober Team isn't, Silent Hill.
I mean, Silent Hill is Konami. And essentially, this whole presentation is like, look, us Konami, we're kind of back in games, sort of, even though all these games are being outsourced to a different company.
Bloober Team.
Bloober Team. But yeah, a lot of people who play Bloober stuff don't really have faith in them, essentially. But like I said, is that like Bloober? It's hard to fuck up something that already has its source material there. So that's what I'm saying, is that like this should. I wouldn't say it's going to be interesting, but this is just. I'm very curious to see where it goes.
I don't think they could fuck up remaking Tony Hawk. They should do that.
They did.
Oh, did they?
Not Bloober Team, but Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. Did you forget that game exists?
No.
Okay. Yeah, and people like that one. People
Yeah.
like that remake.
It was good.
So yeah. Yeah, Silent Hill 2 remake being shown. And this is the thing, is that like I don't really have a connection with Silent Hill. I know a lot of other people do. A lot of the fans obviously have a connection to Silent Hill 2. And the fandom of Silent Hill loves 2. So, that's why a lot of people are like, really keeping their eye close to this whole thing. But, for me, I'm just like, all right, I guess we'll see where that goes. And and then after Silent Hill 2, Konami started to show that they have other projects in the works. Like I said, they're outsourcing to other companies as well. So you got Silent Hill Townfall by Annapurna. It's called Townfall, right? I'm looking at this video right now because I do not remember.
Wow.
Like I said, and I was watching this whole thing. Yes, Townfall by Annapurna. So that's gonna probably be having big actors in Annapurna. And then there is Silent Hill, Annapurna. Oh yeah, it's Annapurna and No Code. That's the development team. So yeah, they're working on Townfall. What's next? What the fuck do they talk about? Oh, they talk about Return to Silent Hill with Christoph Gans.
Let me drop the last one though.
Oh, the last one?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, they talk about a return to Silent Hill, which basically is a teaser for Silent Hill 2, the movie.
Oh, this is the thing that we saw, and it might be like, it looked like it might be something you could like pick your own adventure type thing.
Oh no.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Not yet.
Oh, my bad.
It's all right. I forgive you. But yeah, just Christoph Gans talking about how the success of the first movie was, which was kind of successful. I don't know.
It was alright. It wasn't great.
Yeah, it was an okay movie. It was an okay adaptation.
I think it was way better than fucking Resident Evil TV show. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean anything's better than Resident Evil TV show.
Resident Evil video games.
But even then, even then, the first movie is better than the fucking second movie that came out, Revelations. Which, if you do a wiki dive on like, originally Christoph Gans was supposed to direct that movie. Well, not that movie specifically. They were supposed to do a sequel afterwards. But if you do a wiki dive as to what happened during production, it's kind of nuts. Essentially, the writer for the from the first movie, I don't know if he was the writer for the first movie, but like either way, the writer for the movie that was planned was he was sentenced to prison for manslaughter, vehicular manslaughter. So there was that happened. So they had to stop. Yeah, so they had to stop production for that, and basically the whole movie went in a complete different direction. That's why people got Revelations, that movie with Sean Bean and Jon Snow.
Jonathan.
Huh?
Jonathan Snow.
Jonathan Snow. So yeah, Return to Silent Hill. It's probably Silent Hill 2, the movie. Some people are speculating that might be a TV show. It's very weird on why they showed this, because it's just like Christoph Gans talking about the first movie and the concept of making a sequel to that. But most likely it's just gonna be Silent Hill 2, the movie. So yeah, then after that, they talk about merch, talk about all these statues you can buy, and some sick skateboard decks. More statues. And yes, this is the other thing they talk about. You want to take this one away?
Oh yeah. Silent Hill F.
Oh.
No.
Sorry. I thought you were talking about the fucking choose your own adventure shit. That's the one you wanted.
No.
Okay, so yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay. So yeah, the choose your own adventure thing, or the thing that we don't know what the fuck it is, because it's Bad Robot, the developers for Dead by Daylight. What the fuck is it called? It's called Silent Hill Ascension. They show a little teaser of the Monstar. which is a dude with a hand face, and then just text messages saying, "You gotta save her now." Don't know what the fuck it is. It could be like a choose your own adventure thing. It's like somebody was pointing this out that on Twitter that like it could be like uh uh Twitch chat plays Pokemon, that kind of whole thing. You know, Twitch has that. You know about that, right?
What is it?
Twitch plays Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So people are speculating that it might be that essentially. I don't know. J-Brums is here, so.
Oh yeah. I forgot he was in that.
Yeah, I laugh because it's his studio. It's Bad Robot, but I started fucking laughing where it's like, no, we have a special thing from J.J. Abrams, and it's just a little quote from him, and it's fucking goofy. It's so stupid. But yeah, Silent Hill Ascension. They talk about it a little bit more, but they don't really say what it is. So yeah, they're just being weirdly vague with it and talking about how like it's the next big thing. You know how usually these things go. And then yeah, after that, there you go. Take it away, Howler.
Resident Evil, no. Silent Hill F. Picture this: you're floating on a canoe-like object into a river of flowers, and
the flowers are coming out from holes in the hands in places.
Yeah, and then you become a giant flower.
What is that phobia called? The one where you have a fear of like pores and holes and stuff like that? Tryptophobia, I think it's called.
I think it's called porcelain.
Yeah, it's called porcelain. Yeah, it looks interesting. I like the concept of it where, you know, you have like weird blood flowers kind of. It reminded me of that Junji Ito story with the blood berries.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember that. But yeah, apparently it's supposed to take place in like 1960s Japan. The writer behind it is Ryukishi, I believe is the name. Yes, Ryukishi 07. So for those that don't know what that author has done, he's anonymous, so nobody knows who it is specifically, but they've done a light novel series, or they've done a visual novel series called When They Cry. So the first one they did was Higurashi When They Cry. It's on Steam as well. And what I know of Higurashi is, or what I know about the When They Cry series is that it goes into like weird psychological horrors and shit like that. So a lot of people are saying that this was a good choice. This was a very good choice. Yeah, and then the one interesting thing that I had to look up was Neobard's Entertainment. I don't know what they did, but I found out what they did. They worked on the Resident Evil multiplayer that came out for Resident Evil 3 called Resident Evil... Oh, God. I want to say Retribution, but it's not Retribution. What the fuck is it called? What the fuck is it called? The co-op thing. Is it Resistance? Yes, I think it's Resistance.
Resident Evil?
Yes, that's what they worked on. Neobards worked on Resident Evil Resistance. That is the co-op asymmetrical multiplayer thing. Do you not remember this?
No, I know. I know what you're talking about.
Okay, so they worked on that. They worked on mostly Resident Evil stuff, which is interesting, but they worked on multiplayer shit. I think they have a hand in the fucking reverse shit. That multiplayer thing. I think. I could be wrong, but yeah, but they had her hand in Resident Evil Resistance. So this is, they're developing a... I'm assuming it's going to be a story-based game, you know? Like, it's not going to be anything multiplayer, unless it somehow has multiplayer in it. But, yeah, I think overall, interesting, you know? I'm a little bit more interested in Silent Hill F, obviously, because it is a new thing from Silent Hill. You know, not to say that the Annapurna thing is not going to be successful or anything like that. But that's also the other thing is that like we only saw a teaser for Townfall and we don't know what it is. Like there's no gameplay of it. But you can say the same thing about Silent Hill F is that there's no gameplay for it, but that trailer looks interesting. And the same thing for the Ascension thing. Nobody knows what the fuck that is. And then of course you got Silent Hill 2 remake, but all you got was like in-game cutscenes and a little bit of like backstory about like, oh, Bloober Team loves Silent Hill, and it's like, okay, yeah, that's cool. Anyways, but yeah, really nothing of gameplay from this whole thing. But yeah, who knows? And this is also the other thing is that there's nothing being developed in-house by Konami. All this is being outsourced because Konami wants to make money, so they're pushing all these other different development studios to make the games.
It's almost like they want to be like the company that owns the game companies that make games,
games basically, yeah, in a sense, because it's like they might as well. Because what I'm viewing is that like they're trying to see what they can throw and what sticks essentially. Because obviously Silent Hill 2 Silent Hill 2 remake is like the biggest one, but they're going to be trying out these other things to see what sticks. Silent Hill F, like I said, is probably going to be a little bit more interesting because obviously it's not based in Silent Hill, the town, because it's based in Japan, which is weird. But it goes into a different direction. I'm assuming the F means like
fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you side story. So who knows? But who cares about that, bro? Who cares about that? As somebody that doesn't really care, well, I would say doesn't really care. That somebody is not as interested in Silent Hill. You know what I gave a shit about? Guess what I gave a shit about? Resident Evil.
I did not watch this.
You should watch a little bit of it or just skim through it. So yeah, they showed the Resident Evil showcase literally the day after, which was hilarious, but it was only two things. Basically to make people remember the whole thing that happened in Resident Evil Village, and then get excited for the DLC, and then more stuff on Reverse, that multiplayer thing. That I think it's coming out of its beta period, so it should be coming out on full release at some point. And the last thing is gameplay of Resident Evil 4 Remake.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I did watch this.
I am so excited.
For the remake?
For the remake.
It looks great.
It looks really good. I thought... So this was the interesting thing. For kind of a background thing. So you know how Silent Hill 2, god damn it. You know how Resident Evil 2 Remake was like a smash hit of like 2019? Like that was considered to be like one of the best remakes ever, because of like having some similarities to the first game or to the original game while being different with its technology and stuff like that. Hello? God?
Sorry.
Okay.
I muted myself.
Oh, it's okay. So you know how like Resident Evil 2 was considered to be like really good, right?
Right.
So then 3 came out, but 3 was worked on a different development team from Remake 2. So that's why 3 felt a little weird, especially coming out like a year after, year or two after. When did it come out? 2021 or 22? I think 22. No, excuse me, not 22, 2020. So a lot of people say that 3 felt a little rushed. I liked 3, looking back at it, 3 Remake, I liked it, but there were some things where I feel like they could have done a little bit more with 3 Remake, but they didn't, which is kind of unfortunate because like some of the things in the original game is pretty cool where you kind of like choose, specific like story things that you can do, which I thought was pretty cool. But with Resident Evil 4 Remake, they realized that 3 could have been the best thing if only that original team from Remake 2 was back on it. So that's why they had to basically say, all right, Remake 2's team is back on 4, and this game's going to come out like a couple years afterwards. Now we have the actual gameplay of it, and it was well worth it because holy shit, it's keeping the creepy horror of RE2 while keeping the dumb action of original RE4 and adding some new stuff to the action. The coolest thing that I started freaking out about was the parry you can do with the knife, where you could do knife parries, and I was losing my shit because that shit is fucking cool. But that opening sequence where you have Leon walking in that cabin and like going into the basement is like, that's, if I wouldn't say it's like weird in a bad way. It's like crazy to think about, like, oh yeah, Resident Evil is still a horror franchise, and I think the weird aspect I'm getting from it is that 4 originally went in a crazy direction where it became an action game. And it's like, no, they, like, with this remake, they're still keeping that horror element, and I'm glad that they're doing that. But yeah, that intro sequence is one of the coolest things I've seen, and having basically the gameplay segment be the town that you go into in 4, and having the people basically chase after you, and then the chainsaw man, speaking about chainsaw mans, the chainsaw man come after you and try to like cut you up with a chainsaw, and then you doing a fucking parry or you doing a block with your knife is like the dumbest action shit, but still really fucking cool, and I appreciate it. Yeah, this remake looks amazing, and I'm so excited for it. I'm super excited for it. And I actually do want to go back and replay through 4 again. It's weird because I was having this conversation with somebody on Twitch when I was playing something, where somebody asked me what is my favorite game of all time, and I couldn't really give an answer because of how many games I've played, and I don't really go back and replay games that often. But now I started to think about it. I'm like, oh yeah, Devil May Cry, that series specifically, but specifically Devil May Cry 3, and at this point Devil May Cry 5, those are games that I can say are my favorites. But Resident Evil 4, I still have to put up there as one of my favorite games, because that's a game that I've replayed like 3 times already, and I want to go back a fourth just to like get all that stuff back in again. And yeah, this remake really hyped me up, and I really want to replay the original and then eventually play this. So yeah, this game comes out March. Excuse me. So they showed some of the stuff that you can pre-order for the digital stuff, where you get some costumes and shit like that, and then the physical version, which is a GameStop exclusive, where you get the big fucking Leon statue, which is not big, but like it's a pretty neat statue, because I have the Leon from Resident Evil 2 statue like right next to me, and it's pretty cool. But yeah, really fucking excited for Resident Evil. So yeah, moving on from that, another thing that was shown with some gameplay and some story stuff. Did you see this? Did you see this thing that I sent?
Final Fantasy?
Final Fantasy, baby.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you watch the whole thing?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. What are your thoughts on this Final Fantasy 16?
Final Fantasy 16. Ambition?
Yes.
I mean,
you hate it already. I get it. All right. Moving on.
the art looks interesting.
Mm-hmm. Did you hear the music? Please tell me you heard the music.
Yeah, it doesn't sound bad. Does it sound bad to you?
No, I'm in love with the music.
I mean, from what it looked like with the boss battles, they look pretty grand. Probably more so than previous boss battles.
Yeah, because I think in an article that we talked about, they're planning on doing like different big boss segments and like different gameplay variations. So like some bosses can be like an arena fight, or some bosses can be like a shoot 'em up, or some aspect of that.
Yeah,
So, like,
it looks like it's going in a better direction, I think, than what the fuck was the boy band one?
15.
Yeah, I think it's going in a better direction than 15.
Yeah,
To me, it looks better than even, I think a lot of people shit on 13. I think 13 was actually pretty good.
13 wasn't that bad.
Um, well, I'm talking about the 13 series, right? 13, 13-2, 13-3.
Well, I
I
like
think
13 too.
a lot of people like gave Lightning shit, but like
Yeah, because she's a very monotone character.
but
She's
it's the
not.
same thing with everyone hated Titus when Titus was a thing because
Oh, the
he's
laugh.
too loud and he's a child and blah blah. It's like too, huh?
He's an idiot.
I like him. I think he was a good
Fucking
character.
moron. No, I'm
And
kidding.
then it's like you got people that give Cloud shit because people are like, "Oh, too many people like this," and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, no one's ever happy. Fuck y'all.
Yeah, I don't think there's a Final Fantasy character specifically that people can agree upon that is like one of the greatest Final Fantasy characters of all time.
There's never been one that I've been like, I fucking hate this person.
Like that's the thing is that like I like Cloud, but I don't know, like I wouldn't say that he's my favorite character of all time, but I haven't played that many Final Fantasy games. I like Noctis. If you played 15 and like got through the entire story and like if it wasn't for the fact that the game felt so unfinished, that group of characters that you were with would have been so fucking good. Like that's the thing, and that's the thing that really irks me and that hurts me as well with Final Fantasy 15 is that like there's so much missing shit from it because Square Enix really wanted to expand and really wanted to market off the world of Final Fantasy 15 and it fucking blew back in their face. And that's the thing that sucks and it was a detriment to that game. Cuz you did you play the entirety of 15?
No.
So there's literally moments in that game where your party member is like, all right, I gotta go do my DLC mission. I guess I'll see you in like a couple hours. And then they come back and they're like, woo, my DLC side story was hard. And I'm just like, what the fuck is happening? And then the DLC story comes out and it's like, oh, why? Why was this a thing? And then yeah, they try to expand it with like the anime, which was actually kind of okay. And then the Kingsglaive movie, and then they wanted to do a second season of the DLC side stories where they wanted to do the princess character and then this Dragoon Knight Aranea. I think she was one of the coolest characters, but she shows up like maybe like 4 times throughout the story, only to be like, "Yo, you guys are dumb with your boy band clothes," and then she just goes away. Like, you could have done something interesting with the game, but you wanted to market this shit like to hell, and it is such a detriment. And then when the director for that game came out and was like, "Yeah, I'm leaving the studio. Like, that's it. There's not going to be anything for this." So, and then that was the end of 15. And like I said, 15 felt like an unfinished game, and it sucks because like I really liked Noctis. I really liked his boys that he was with because they were all somewhat interesting, but you have to have that context of that anime as well to kind of like connect with them a little bit. And like the scene that really hits me hard is the final scene where you're with the boys, and it is such a connecting moment that I really liked and also really hurt me because I'm like,
Oh, I hurt my pain. My
it,
pain.
yeah, it really hurt me because I'm just like, like Square Enix fucked up this game because it's so unfinished, and I wanted to hang out with the boys even more.
Oh no, the boys.
The boys, I liked it when Ignis was like, I have a new recipe, and I'm just like, yeah, he got a new recipe. But
off of you saying you can't pick out a favorite character, I think my favorite character from Final Fantasy is Terra in Final Fantasy VI.
I hear she's good. Yeah, I haven't played 6.
That game was super fun. I don't remember it being called 6 when I was younger. Am I wrong?
I think it might have been 4. Because
it was either 4 or 3 or something.
Yeah, there was weird localization shit that happened. But yeah, you're right. You're right in that case. That was called something else in America, but now
But they had like mechs and shit. It was cool. It was a good game. I don't remember it super well off the top of my head, but
I'm trying to remember. I think Final Fantasy 3 was Final Fantasy 2 when it came to the States. Some shit like that. And then 6 was like 3 or 4 or something like that. It was very weird. Yeah, like I said, I haven't really got into Final Fantasy that hard. I'm really, I committed to myself to get into fucking Final Fantasy 7, and I did. I really committed to getting into Final Fantasy 7 in that world, and that's why I like Remake. I like Remake because it is basically what if things didn't work the way it did in the original game? Like
Yeah.
this is Final Fantasy VII if essentially. Um
It was
and
I never played through that.
remake?
Yeah, I have all like the stuff for it. I just need to play it.
Yeah, I mean it is good. I'm excited for Rebirth. What is it? Is it called Rebirth? Yeah, I think it's called Rebirth. Um you know, some original Final Fantasy VII people don't like remake because it's too linear, but I didn't mind it. Because it's trying to really build up a lot of these characters and have very close and personal moments with them, which I'm more of a person that likes the story and likes the story even more when you have very very neat character interactions and shit like that, which that game really did and really pulled off well. Because you know there was a whole thing with Jessie, the girl with the bandana, where she's like, "I like you, Cloud. You seem pretty hot," and it's just,
Jesse.
yeah, she was too thirsty for Cloud. Um, I still gotta play the DLC with Yuffie. I still gotta play that.
Yeah, Felina? Yo,
Yeah,
she out there.
you know it. Um, but yeah, like I said, I really committed to getting into Final Fantasy VII, and that was the interesting thing is that like Final Fantasy VII Remake was the first Final Fantasy VII game I played, and that was a mistake because you know obviously that game is a sequel to Final Fantasy VII, so I had to go back replay through the entirety of Final Fantasy VII, which I did, and I really think that game holds up. There's some dialogue stuff that doesn't really, but that game holds up still. It's still really good. And
It's
then
not a sequel.
huh?
Final Fantasy VII Remake isn't a sequel.
It's a sequel. It was confirmed by the director.
It's the same game though.
It's not,
Okay.
bro. I beat the game. You're trying to make the assumption, even though
Well,
you
you do the
didn't
same
beat
thing.
it.
You dress up. You start the opening.
It
Try
has the beat.
killing.
It has the beat for beat stuff, but it is not a remake because they literally meant the word remake as a literal thing in the story.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
All right, so they play remake.
No, it
Oh,
means remaking the story. They say something about remaking something.
yes.
Okay.
Do you want me to talk about it?
No, I'm good.
Okay, well, I'll talk about it. Since you'll never beat remake.
Okay, I'll just meet you back.
Uh, no, but in all seriousness, it is a sequel. It like genuinely is a sequel. The director had to come out and say that yes, like the meaning remake means something more.
Oh, that's kind of boring.
Yeah, I'm sure. I guess if you want to call it. That's why, you know, that's why when I played it and some stuff was happening in the game where I was like, I don't know what's going on. And then I had to play original FF7 and be like, oh, I understand the context now. And then I played Crisis Core, and then I watched Advent Children, and then
Whoa. The
what was it?
homework was done.
I did some of the homework. I had to look up the wiki for the Turks mobile game, which was stupid, but it wasn't fully explained because that game did not come out to America. It was only a Japan exclusive thing, but actually had some story stuff. It's stupid. Anyways, Advent Children. And Advent Children is a big thing. Well, not a big thing, but there is a thing that happens in Remake that kind of references Advent Children. Um, so yeah, FF7 is just interesting overall, and like I said, I'm very excited to see where the story goes in Rebirth. Um, but I think just coming back to 16, this trailer also very hyped for. Made me very hype. That music, also the feeling, the mood of the game as well feels very dark, like dark fantasy, which I'm digging. I don't know if people like that, but I like it. And I also think like the whole setup of essentially each god character is a person that lives in like different like kingdoms and stuff like that, and essentially they're the weapon. Like they're essentially that kingdom's weapon, and they use them for war. And I'm like, that's fucking cool. I think that is one of the coolest things where it's like, uh, you know, the dark fantasy feeling of like this person that has the power of a god is viewed as like a monster, but they are essentially that kingdom's hope for like not being conquered. I think that's what's super interesting. And then yeah, of course the fucking gameplay. The gameplay is super action because it's that fucking one of the designers of Devil May Cry 5. But not only that, like I was mentioning before, the music is like how it builds up is so, oh my god, it's so good, that music. And
It's
it's
pretty Final Fantasy.
yeah, it's very Final Fantasy, but like it's so raw, it feels so good. It feels so bombastic. Yeah, and it's crazy to think that this is being done by the development team behind Final Fantasy 14. And people keep saying that Final Fantasy 14's story is actually legitimately really good. And so is the music. So, yeah. Crazy. But yeah, Final Fantasy 16 Ambition trailer. Fucking great. When is this game coming out again? Summer 2023. So, yeah, I'm excited. I should probably play more Final Fantasies, you know?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, except for Tidus, because fuck that dumbass.
But that is so cool.
Titus or Tidus? Think about it. Yeah,
Super
it's
cool.
Titus. Yeah. I hear 9 is pretty good too. FF9.
I don't like 9 personally, but
Wow, you hate.
everyone's gotta hate one of them, right?
Yeah, like I said, I'm trying to think. Which ones did I play? 7, 13, 13-2, and 15. Yeah, those are the only ones I played. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know which ones to dislike or love. But 13-2's music. It's good. It's good music. That's good music in 13-2.
13-2 was cool.
Yeah. I like that whole
I didn't
premise.
play 2 and I didn't play 3, but I watched you play through, and they were fun games to watch.
I still gotta play the third one. Still gotta play Lightning Returns someday.
I thought I watched you play 13 Returns.
No. Lightning Returns I have not played yet. That's the one game I have been holding off.
You sure?
I've only played 13 and 13-2 and
Are you sure you can remember what you've played?
I'm pretty sure. I've only played 13 and 13-2, not Lightning Returns. Anyways, speaking of Lightning Returns, Star Wars.
Wow.
Star Wars. Are you excited for Star Wars Eclipse?
No.
Okay, moving on.
I just don't really care about Star Wars too much.
I would care because obviously this takes 100 years. According to this article, not 100, 200 years before Episode 1. You know, I would have cared because it seems like the premise of the story is supposed to be placed on a different planet, a completely new race of people in the Star Wars universe created by Quantic Dreams. But that's also the problem is Quantic Dreams. Or Quantic Dream, excuse me. There's no S. Fuck it. I don't even care about Quantic Dream. It's just David Cage is not a good writer. He's not. And a lot of people agree with that aspect is that like David Cage is a hack writer. And he's the one that's going to be leading on this project because obviously it's his fucking studio. And it's crazy to think that he's behind all of this. You know, how he has such a kind of a success with his studio, even though like a lot of his stuff isn't well written. Some people like Heavy Rain. I kind of dug it, but the twist at that was dumb. Beyond Two Souls was bullshit as well. It was really dumb.
As far as the game itself goes, though, from the trailer thing, it looks. If they make the cutscenes look like it does in that, and make the gameplay look half of what that cutscene shit looks like, the game visually should be very beautiful.
Yeah, in a visual aspect, but writing is a completely different ordeal.
Yeah, but I mean,
No.
I don't know.
You
I feel like you
mean
don't have like the ultimate everything for all these games. Half the time, I feel like writing is usually the one thing that's usually pretty bad.
yeah, especially from Quantic Dream.
Well, I mean, if they would hire someone else to write the fucking game.
Yeah, I think that's the problem as well, is that like Star Wars is, I don't know, Star Wars I gave a shit about years ago, and then at this point I don't care. But like I said, is that like the premise for this seems pretty interesting, but I have to remember, I have to kind of bring myself back to reality, is that it's being written by David Cage, and David Cage is not a good writer. So even then, there's other Star Wars shit being developed, so who knows? Even the the sequel to Jedi Fallen Order Survivor, I think it's called. I think that's the full name, something like that. Either way, that Dark Souls. Well, it kind of is a Dark Souls clone, but still, that game is having a sequel, and I'm looking more forward to that, even though that's kind of based in the canon of the universe. You know, like I said, Star Wars is such a saturated like thing that at this point, making anything for it either can be canonized or retcon, and it's just like I really don't care. And that's also the problem as well, is that like it tries to stick to the main people of Star Wars. Like they try to connect it back to Vader, or connect it back to Obi-Wan, or connect it back to Count Dooku, and it's just like, just go somewhere else. We're in a fucking galaxy. Go somewhere else. So I don't know. I can rant and rave about this, but you know, like I said,
Just delete Star Wars. No one needs it anymore.
yeah, I feel like at this point Disney is just,
Bring back Spock.
yeah, bring back Spock, let Kirk punch Yoda, and we'll be good. But you know what should be good, hopefully? Take this
Aw,
away.
man. Microsoft. One day they'll be good.
One day they'll be good. But they were good this time.
Apparently, Microsoft said that the Wolverine game should be released in 2023 by Insomniac. I mean, Spider-Man is also supposed to come out around that time.
Yes.
So, like, me and you were talking about this earlier. Who knows if like this is actually true? Because like you said, they wouldn't drop both games at the same time. It would,
especially within the same year, or
yeah,
at least the same fiscal quarter, because that wouldn't make any sense.
Well, like you would. I mean, I don't know anything about game sales, but I would assume you wouldn't want to drop these two in the same year so that one can make money, and then you can drop the next one and let that one make money when the other one's losing money.
Yeah, that's
or
what
not
I'm
losing
thinking.
money, but losing momentum.
Yeah, losing the traction. Yeah, because like it's the same thing of like releasing a phone. Like iPhone 9 came out, and then at the same time in the same year, iPhone 10 is gonna come out. It's like,
yeah,
that doesn't make any sense. You got to let the thing breathe and take time for sales to go up.
Right.
But yeah, that's the weird thing, is that like Microsoft was like, yeah, it's ready, kind of.
Unless Wolverine's an add-on to Spider-Man 2.
Who knows? That could be a thing where he just shows up at the end of Spider-Man 2 and is like, I'm here, bub. And it's like, okay.
I'm Wolverine.
It's me.
Me, Samuel Jackson.
The Wolverine.
Why do you have your eye patch on still? I'm sorry, I was at another gig earlier.
It's me. It's just been me, the Wolverine. But yeah, one of the heads of Insomniac had to come out and say that, you know, the game's still being in development. You know, we're trying not to overshadow Spider-Man, obviously.
Yeah.
So, but he's like, but what I've seen of Wolverine is, it's looking good, and it, you know, it could be the next big thing. But like we talked about, is it's not going to come out literally the same year as fucking Spider-Man 2, because that just wouldn't make any sense. That would not make any fucking sense.
Yeah, I mean, it could have just been a mistake.
Could be, yeah, could be.
Who knows?
But yeah, like I said, I'm still looking forward to Spider-Man 2. I'm obviously looking forward to this game as well.
Hugh Jackman's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, huge jacked man. And I'm just curious as to see what Insomniac does for Wolverine.
I can't wait. You already know that, like, him clawing into a wall and climbing walls has to be a thing. Like, you used to be able to do it in one of the games, I can't remember, and I used to fucking love it, man. It might have been the PlayStation 2 game.
Might have been, because I'm trying to think. I don't know. Like, would it work in a more linear sense, or like this game in particular?
He
Or
punches the wall and climbs.
No. But I'm saying for this game, is like, would you think it would work well as an open world game or as a
I think
linear
Wolverine.
thing?
So if they're gonna make it anything like Spider-Man, it's gonna be open world.
Hmm. I'm holding off on that thought. That's just me. I don't know. Open world Wolverine doesn't seem that great.
It could be linear, but
I
I'm pretty.
think they might go in a linear direction, or like have like a semi open world kind of thing.
Yeah. So like there might be like missions, and then each place you can like freely roam.
Yeah, almost like I want to say Ratchet and Clank, but even then, you have your level and like the levels kind of burst out and like the way it is. My thing is this, like, is this Wolverine after X-Men or before X-Men or in the middle of X-Men? Because they didn't really establish that. Who knows?
Him being in a bar.
Would have to be like he's not in the X-Men.
No. I mean, he did it in X-Men still. He would leave and go do things.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm just curious where it is in like the
it seemed it's like it's hard to like decipher because like it's one little scene, but it looks like him before X-Men.
I guess, yeah. We'll know unless like the end of that game is like, Patrick Stewart comes out and he's like, Wolverine, join the X-Men, and then that's how the game ends.
Christopher Walken, Wolverine.
Why didn't you join the X-Men? Why didn't you join the X-Men, Wolverine? Yeah.
You're breaking my heart.
Your father shoved a watch up his ass to hide it.
You're talking to my guy all wrong. It's the wrong tone.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm just curious as to like what they do with this character.
I don't care what they do. Just fucking give him claws and make me be able to climb walls. I don't give a fuck.
What if he doesn't climb walls?
Then we're gonna have problems.
All right. Then worst game of the year is basically what you're saying.
Yep.
Okay. But Spider-Man could climb walls with Miles.
But Wolverine also can climb walls.
Okay.
Why does he have claws if he can't climb walls? It doesn't make sense.
Anyway,
they're adamantium, bro. They're meant to go into brick.
I mean, can't like Cyclops climb walls as well? Couldn't he just shoot his beam and then make like a little hole and then put his hand in there and make another little beam?
You're right. He could.
Exactly.
Yes, he could.
Exactly. Think about that. Think about that, Insomniac, when you come out with Cyclops, the video game.
But it's more easily accessible for Wolverine to do it.
I guess.
It is.
No. So yeah, Spider-Man 2 looking well, we haven't seen any gameplay for it, but we're just gonna wait.
Spider-Man 2 looking great from that Wolverine trailer.
Yeah. Thanks, Spider-Man. Anyways, moving on from that. You know what people like, bro?
No.
Kingdom Hearts.
Absolutely not. This picture looks horrible.
So this is the thing, is unfortunately the video got privated. I watched a little bit of it. It was basically an animatic of the pilot of the Kingdom Hearts show that Disney had basically a hand in, but it just didn't follow through. The person who worked on it basically was the executive producer. And yeah, I had this whole animatic. He talked about how like the plot of the show was going to be like, basically each episode was them going to Goofy, Sora, and Donald going to different Disney worlds, obviously the same as the game. Sure. And each thing was going to have a little narrative thing with Jiminy Cricket. And yeah, like it's just interesting to see like the animatic of like weird Disney looking Sora. It was very weird, but I don't know. I don't think they explained what the thing was actually going to be, if it was going to be live action or if it was going to be animated or 2D animated or 3D animated. But I think this pilot animatic came out like a little bit after the first game came out, so it was still pretty new. So I would assume it just had to be 2D animation. So yeah, it could have been.
Yeah.
Just
It
like
could
that.
come back. You never know.
Yeah, it could, because like Kingdom Hearts 4 is being amped up, and
Yeah, especially with like things like Cyberpunk getting one and Naughty Dog looking to make, I think, more. Yeah,
any
because
other
they're doing
show.
the other show.
Yeah, like
And I mean, like, I know it's not a cartoon, but I'm just saying, like,
no,
all these
like
games getting their things, you know?
yeah, their own specific TV show. There was a
Yeah.
thing that I saw earlier that some screenshots of the Fallout show is being shown.
Oh, right.
Yeah, from Amazon. So
That would be
yeah,
interesting if they end up getting that done.
yeah, I feel like this year and possibly next year is like the year of like video game TV
Sly
shows or
Cooper might even
movies.
come back through. Oh, yeah, please.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I
It
forgot
looks
about
so
it.
cool. I was so excited, bro.
Yeah, it's
Mila
crazy.
Fox.
What happened to that whole
Or
ordeal? Like,
Carmelita Fox.
Carmelita, yeah. What happened with that? Do you know why that didn't?
Sly Cooper?
Yeah, why didn't it fall through?
Mm, probably
Just
something to do with, like, a director or something like that. Probably, like, ended up canceling it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was also partially, like, lack of interest.
possibly, yeah.
Because, like, I know they're probably not making the game because of lack of interest. Like,
Yeah,
I know a lot of people will like post and stuff and be like, "We really want this," but like, realistically, like, it's probably only like what, a couple thousand people. You think?
yeah. No, because I'm thinking about that guy who's hyped about like Resistance PS5. That guy just makes me laugh. Where he's just like, remember this game? PS5 possibly, and I'm just like, you gotta stop, bro. You gotta stop.
Can I start doing that with Sly Cooper?
Yeah, you could do that.
All right,
Create
cool.
a whole
I'll post
Twitter
it every
page.
week.
Yeah, create
No,
a
I'm
whole.
gonna do it on my own Twitter page. Wait, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I mean, if you want.
Oh,
No, but it's just funny. And then somebody's like, yeah, it's like, but I don't think a PS5 version is gonna come out. And he's like, no, he's like, there's possible rumors that this could
immediately
happen.
blocks them.
And it's so goofy. I'm like, this guy, that has to stop. This guy must be stopped. But yeah, like I said, like it could happen. Could happen at any point. Well, like you said, it could happen at any point where this show might just be greenlit, because obviously even now Disney's like still trying to like make as much money as it can, and then
Yeah.
fucking Kingdom Hearts, being like give money.
Yeah.
Because even before then, like Disney didn't really do anything with Kingdom Hearts when Kingdom Hearts was like kind of up there. Like there was nothing Kingdom Hearts related at like Disney World or Disneyland.
Yeah.
Like they just never acknowledged it.
No reason to. It's not really part of that universe.
Yeah, it just has the characters, but it's not really like a Disney property.
Right. It's a different type of thing. I mean, even when Kingdom Hearts was announced when I was a fucking kid, dude, I was like, no way, like this isn't real. And then it just kept coming back and back and back, and I was like, okay, I guess it's a thing. And then like I remember when the first one came out, I was like, I'm not gonna play this game. It looks like it's for kids. And then I ended up playing it, and I was like, this is amazing. I was like,
the
this
best
is so
game I've ever
good.
played.
Not the best game, but definitely like I'd put it up probably in top 10 I played.
I like Kingdom Hearts. I like Kingdom Hearts 1. I liked Kingdom Hearts 2. The combat in Kingdom Hearts 2 felt pretty good.
Yeah, I think 2 might even arguably be better than 1. Not sure.
Yeah, I would say that. Especially where it goes and it's especially how the game starts off, where you're like, oh, this is weird. You're playing as this character Roxas, and then it's just like change back to Sora. But we talked about this multiple times, where like fucking Kingdom Hearts story is ass because of how convoluted it gets. And that's why it's like it's so hard to keep up, because like when fucking Wesley mentioned to me that, oh yeah, you gotta play the fucking mobile game because that's critical to Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm like, what? No. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Nope.
I bought the games already. Fuck it. I'll just play it and then probably like a wiki thing. Be like, oh, that's why this dumb stuffed cat thing is God, essentially.
Do you know what else has a wiki page?
Let me know what has a wiki page.
Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
That does have a wiki page, but you know what makes me sad about that wiki page?
What?
that it just says season 1 because there's not going to be a season 2.
Well, did they say there's no season 2 at all?
Well, basically the CD Projekt Red manager of Japan came out to say that they have no plans to continue the story.
Okay.
So that's pretty much it. Yeah, basically saying that they're not really interested to revisit Cyberpunk Edge Runners. The show is good. The show is fucking great.
Yeah.
I was talking about like if this were to ever get a season 2 to have completely different characters. That's what I think. Just have a new cast of characters, have them have their own cyberpunk journey. But I think the issue is that Cyberpunk Edge Runners goes really bombastic that I don't think they can top it off if they do another season with different characters.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of tough in that case. But
Yeah, I've been told this is amazing by multiple people. I also actually have a friend that's playing through it right now, and I was like, I saw him online. I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Playing Cyberpunk." I'm like, "What the fuck are you playing Cyberpunk for?" He's like, "I've never played it, but I watched Edge Runners."
yeah,
And I was like, "Oh," and he's like, "Yeah, I didn't really like know about Cyberpunk until I watched Edge Runners." And I was like, again, just like, "Oh, that's weird. Like, you have a PlayStation. This should be like something fresh in your mind already. Like, Cyberpunk's been around for so long."
yeah.
Or not, I guess like to me it's been so long.
Is your friend like a casual gamer?
Uh,
Semi?
he's been playing Destiny since 1, so like
Okay.
personally, like if you're been playing that shit for that long, like
Yeah. He didn't call you
so.
Choom or anything?
No, I do love saying
Oh,
Choom though. I
Choom.
actually have a text chat with a bunch of friends, and the text chat chain is called the Chooms.
The Chooms? Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got a Delta. Got a Delta,
Huh?
guys. Got a Delta.
Got a Delta.
Yeah.
Got a
Got a Choom.
blast.
Got a Choom.
Got a Choom. I don't know.
Yeah.
The art looks really cool for this though, and
Cyberpunk?
yeah.
Yeah,
I want to watch the show.
it's good. It's legitimately really fucking
That's sad
good.
that there won't be a second season.
Yeah, like I said,
Like you said, it would be cool if they made another standalone. That'd be cool.
yeah, same world, but different characters. Doesn't have to be.
Whoever the fuck work on this again, please too.
Yeah, Studio Trigger. Studio Trigger was the one that.
Oh, Trigger did it.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's why it's so fucking good because it's Trigger and like
Yeah,
it
Trigger's
is
done a few things, no?
yeah, Kill a
Like they're
Kill.
pretty big in anime, right?
They're considered to be like one of the best, like up there. Like besides Studio Mappa, the one that's currently working on
Does
Chainsaw
Trigger
Man.
publish mangas too?
I don't think so. No, they don't. I think they just work solely on
Isn't there something
animation.
called Clamp or something?
Clamp works on like light novels and stuff like that, I think.
Yeah, but don't they work on anime too?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
Code Geass, from what I remember. And I think Clamp
Because I
also
remember
did.
my brother talking about Clamp.
I think they also did Gundam Wing. Hold on.
I think they did. Not Love Hina. Oh my Goddess, maybe.
I think you might be right. Hold on. Oh yeah, Clamp is a manga. They're manga artists. They're a group of women.
Okay.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know if they did Love Hina. I probably have to do like a whole.
No, they didn't do Love Hina. I was thinking, Oh My Goddess.
Okay. No, sorry. Yeah. Code Geass was a Clamp. It was an anime, but the women at Clamp worked on the art. That's what I'm thinking of.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Trigger did Kill a Kill. They did Darling in the Franxx. They did another anime called Brand New Animal. Trigger has done a lot of stuff, even back when they were Gainax. Because Trigger, Trigger is basically some people from Gainax before Gainax got shut down, and Gainax made one of my favorite animes, which is Gurren Lagann. So, if you ever watch Gurren Lagann, you're like, yeah, like fucking
You
Go
You ever heard
bonkers.
of Gigantor? I don't know if we talked about this before.
Oh yeah, we did.
Did we? Okay. Yeah.
Tetsujin, yeah.
Fucking Gigantor, so good.
Yeah. His real name is Tetsujin 28. You're welcome.
Gigantor to me, it always will be.
I know.
Gigantor. The
I
space
know.
age robot. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
It's like the same thing with Voltron, where people were like, "Oh yeah, Voltron," and it's
Yeah.
like, "No, Voltron." Yeah. If you watch Edge Runners, we gotta talk about it. we gonna
Yeah,
we gonna be talking about it because like it is one of the most adult animes as well. Like this is something that like I wouldn't feel comfortable if like my little cousin watched because it is adult as fuck. But really good, really good. But yeah,
Yeah.
sad, sage.
Know what else is sad?
What is also sad, bro?
This isn't sad, actually. Developer claims many studios are asking Xbox to drop mandatory S series compatibility, or Series S, sorry.
So yeah, I didn't know about this set. Like apparently developers have to work on a Series S version for any game that's coming out to X. And I didn't know that that was a thing. But according to who was it? Ian McClure, who is a VFX artist at Bossa Studios, who works on I Am a Fish, basically had to come out in a Twitter statement because Jeff Gerstmann, of old Giant Bomb fame, talked about how like it's such a weird thing to even have a conversation about this. I think there was also a thing from somebody over at Rocksteady that was talking about like they don't want to work on Series S versions of video games because it's like there's no point. But yeah, I didn't know that was a thing that was like mandatory. But essentially it's not necessarily a CPU or a GPU thing. It is a memory constraint thing that the Series S isn't able to output that much memory compared obviously to the X. And that's why there was a whole Twitter thread from Ian McClure saying that like nobody wants to work on this. Like a lot of developers have to have meetings with Xbox, specifically Microsoft, and talk about like we don't want to do this. Like we just don't want to make a completely different version where it just sometimes just doesn't work. And it's like it's not their fault. Like it is just a hardware issue. Yeah, weird. But I don't know. Yeah, because that was also the other thing is that like the Series S when it was released, I was like, there's really no point in it. But I guess for at a more affordable console that can play Series X games, it's like okay, I could get it at that point. But it's all digital. There were also rumors of like a what is it?
It's kind of crazy because the series is actually $200 cheaper than the X, and I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So, because I was going to say, like, if there's not a big difference, you might as well just get the X, and they should just cut the S. But that's a big fucking price difference.
It's a big
between buying that and that.
They mentioned like Xbox before they released the Series X. They mentioned that like the S is coming out. It's a little bit cheaper, but it's just all digital. And the other thing is that like it's not as powerful. They even stated this. It's like it's not as powerful as the X. So
yeah,
that's
my friend lives with his girlfriend, and she plays games with him, and he got the PS5, and he was like, well, everything's almost pretty much cross compatible, so I'm just gonna get you an S because it's cheaper, and you're not gonna care about the graphics, basically, because like she was like, I don't give a fuck,
yeah,
she's gonna play like Fortnite or whatever and some other stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a good console for like when somebody's not gonna be like heavily invested into gaming.
Yeah, it's a very casual console.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like that's why I'm so surprised that like studios are like out here being like, we don't want to work on the S. We just want to focus on the X and PS5 and PC, of course, and that's it. Like
they're getting pushed into a corner of like, gotta make it 30 FPS, and they want to throw it into 60.
Yeah.
And make these more lavish games.
Mm-hmm.
Then like, of course, like.
But this is also that. But this is also the other weird thing is that like I think this is why it kind of connects to the whole thing of Gotham Knights being 30
Yeah,
FPS, because
course.
it is, if it's going to run on Xbox consoles, it has to run at 30 so the Xbox Series S can catch up with the X, so it's not, because the S only outputs 30 frames, I believe. So that's why it had to be stuck at 30 frames, but I don't understand as to why I think now that I think about it, they didn't want to alienate people buying that game, so that's why they had to make PS5 version also 30 FPS. But then you have that other issue of like you kind of alienated a group, because I believe PC can run 60 for Gotham Knights. So
Yeah.
it's just a like a lose-lose situation right there. Yeah, and then there was a whole thing that like they talked about how like gamers wish 60 FPS was a big thing that can be put in all games, but it's either have good quality or performance. And I'm more of a performance kind of guy, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want that 60 FPS, baby. Because yeah, like I said, I when I talked about A Plague Tale, is that like I love the game, I love how it looks, but it's also a detriment because it's not a steady 30 frames. So
I just want my game to work.
what?
I just want my game to work and
Run well. Yeah.
look good.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want it to run well. That's the thing. It's just, you know, performance. So yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
I learned a little something this week, you know, with some studios have to
Got
work
that
on,
brain pumping.
yeah, got to work on an S version. Weird. Just fucking weird. Um yeah, it's so that's basically it for this week. There was a couple things that was talked about. I'm just going to run through. Um there was a trademark for possibly a Parasite Eve game. Hold on. Hold on. Let's see if we can find that tweet. Yes, Square Enix trademarks Symbiogenesis in Japan. And according to the Wiktionary, it is the merging of two separate organisms to form a single new organism. And the only thing that resonates with that is Parasite Eve. So possibly a Parasite Eve thing. And the other thing was Sega has opened a studio over in Singapore that is probably for their NFT shit. So there's that. So that should be fun, I guess. Maybe. So yeah, that's it for the week. We did it, y'all. We got through the news. And we talked about the video games. The news and the video games. So with that said, Howler, what do you got to say, bro? You excited for anything? You planning on playing anything besides Destiny and League?
Nope.
All right. As for me,
Sorry, I'm gonna watch probably that show. I still need to
Cyberpunk?
watch Morbid Time.
Do we have
We
to?
should watch Sonic if you have time and I have time.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
We should probably watch Sonic 2
Uh,
for the
get Ono
Knuckles.
in there if he doesn't have spinning circles or whatever.
Okay, I'll try. Yeah, I'll try. Yeah. Oh, I also made a TikTok. I have a TikTok account now for the stream.
Put that in the description below.
Somewhere. But yeah, I'm doing more edited highlights from streams and stuff like that to put on TikTok.
Yeah, the edit looked good for the French thing. I like that.
Oh, thank you. Did you check out the No More Heroes one?
No.
Okay.
So what happens when I get on TikTok is like someone sent me something and I look at it and immediately start scrolling to other shit and I just like completely lose focus on what I'm doing.
Just go on my account and you just see I think 3 things: the Plague Tale thing and No More Heroes and The World Ends With You. That's basically it. I still got to do some more stuff.
Oh, World Ends With You. That was a good game.
Yeah. No, but it's just like it's a meme. Don't worry.
Yeah, I still love the game though. Don't fucking fuck me out of liking the game, okay? You fucking fuck.
All right. Anyways, oh my god, I just remembered fucking the World Ends With You characters are in fucking Kingdom Hearts. Do you remember that?
No.
They're
3?
in no, not in 3. They're in 2. No, Dream Drop Distance.
Oh.
Because I think Sora and Riku play the Reapers game.
Nah,
It's
I don't remember that.
okay.
Did you
it's
play
fine.
that on stream?
No, I didn't play Dream Drop Distance.
Okay.
Dream Drop Distance. I didn't play that because there's a whole Kingdom Hearts remix of some of the World Ends With You music.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to think because like I've been really into like listening to more video game music. I forgot how good fucking Neo The World Ends With You's music is really good. Like it's so fucking good.
The opening to Devil May Cry 4 is so good.
It's also really good. That's also really good. The opening.
I have that song like literally on my fucking iTunes playlist, bro.
I like 3s a little bit more than 4s, but 4s.
I'm thinking of. Hold on, let me find this real quick because it's literally in here right now.
We are calling. The night is calling.
Yeah, it's 4.
Okay. Oh, so it's
It's the prologue.
yeah, I'm trying to remember how it goes.
Out of Darkness
I forget how it
by
goes.
Aubrey Ashburn.
Fuck, I forget how 4s goes. I mean,
It's like Opry. It's so,
yeah.
It's so fucking cool.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I like 3s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I this is also the funny thing is that like I've been getting into a lot more like game music, like I was saying, that No More Hero 2's music is really good too. Like there's a lot of like interesting like song choices that they went with. There's a boss you fight and like his like boss music is Japanese rap, and I was like, this is fucking cool as hell. And then I was like, you know what? I kind of want to listen to like other Suda 51 games music. So like Killer 7 also has a fucking phenomenal soundtrack because it's by the composer that did the Danganronpa games. Danganronpers. But like if you hear his stuff is like techno, like electronic music, and because of me listening to that Killer 7 soundtrack, I'm like, I kind of want to go back and replay through Killer 7 because it's so fucking good. And then of course, fucking Shadows of the Damned. Like there's this one song in particular that I didn't realize was in Shadows of the Damned, where it plays in Travis Strikes Again, this like little side story thing. That I was like, this is a really good song. Who is it done by? It's done by Akira Yamaoka, who is the composer for Silent Hill, which I was like, fucking what? And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Akira Yamaoka worked on Shadows of the Damned. And I was like, oh, that's sick. Yeah. Just good video game music. That's all I can say.
Hell yeah.
Oh, this was something that if Wesley was here that I'm a little sad about, but Wesley's not here. Persona 5 Royal came out. I forgot to mention this, is that like I'm a little sad because I wanted to get the PS5 version, but the only way to get it is I have to pay full price for the new thing, and I kind of don't want to do that. And I already have the game on PS4, but it only runs in like 30, and I'm just like, I want the performance. But yeah, it's like essentially this new version that came out to Series X, PS5, and PC is the complete version of Royal, where it has like all the DLCs. Apparently, there's one DLC that is not included, which is the Raido DLC. If you don't know who Raido Kuzunoha is he's a Shin Megami Tensei character from a different spinoff, but that's besides the point. But yeah, I'm a little like miffed that you gotta pay like fucking full price for the game again, but that's depending if you want to get it. So yeah. Big suck. Lol. Big lol, big suck. All right, so I guess we're done for the podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us, I guess.
Bro fist out.
Bro fist is all right, we're done. All right, bye.
All right.